Welcome to Bro Taste This.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. Welcome to Vida y Vino episode 20, 21? 20, right?
20.
20,
The big 2-0.
where we break down food, wine, news, and our childhood trauma. I am Luis Pablo, and joined with me today, we got Philip Golden Corral. We got Juan Legend.
The one and only.
And we have a special guest. We got Jojo Soberg joining us in the hot seat today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for making time in your busy day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Anything for the homies.
You can find him at Joe's Advanced Painting on Instagram if you want. It's impressive shit what you do.
Thank you.
I look
Yeah,
at your
it
shit
really
all the
is.
time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I was going to paint this apartment, and you were going to be the person I reach out to. But then I was like,
I can help you.
it's a lot of money.
I can prep you out. Right. Nah, dude. Yeah, we've worked
Because
on.
you saw how high the ceilings are in the living
Oh, yeah,
room. They're
yeah.
fucking high.
It's huge, man. It's a lot of wasted, heat.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
true.
didn't
To be honest,
see
but
that.
anyway, yeah, we worked on a handful of mansions on Lake Geneva itself, and
Oh, yeah.
yeah, things are booming. We just hired on a laborer, and it's myself, another person, and the laborer. So yeah,
There's three of you guys?
three of us. Doug, basically my partner, he has been teaching me everything I need to know. He's been in the business for about 40 years, and I'm very fortunate and lucky to have someone like him to show me the
ropes.
the ropes of the trade. You know,
The paintbrush, per se.
paintbrush, everything, everything. So yeah, grateful, and
How
yeah.
long have you been doing it now?
2 years now. This will be at the end of 2022. It'll be 3 years.
2 years as your business or 2 years painting?
2 years is my business. Yeah.
Oh,
So
how
you-
many years of painting?
I
Yeah.
I kind of did it backwards. I learned how to paint,
On the
Hell
but
chat.
I basically had a business account open, and I just kind of ran
Fuck
with
it.
it. Yeah, basically.
Why painting?
Um,
Why not?
yeah, why not? I mean, I learned how to install window and doors in high school, and I've been a grunt boy most of the time. And painting is it's zen. It's very peaceful. You have to be calm,
Yeah,
cool,
you're right.
collected.
Mhm.
Can't be shaky. Can't be, you got to be straight. So it's a good time. I like it. Keeps me in line. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And what a best place to do it, around the Lake Geneva Bay
Dude,
area.
my office is when I'm working outside. My office is the lake. Like it's pretty awesome.
Can't
You
get better
know.
than that, man. That's fucking sick. Well, thank you for being on the show. Today we're drinking the Federalist 2018 Zinfandel. Today's gonna be a spicy episode, boys. Let's go ahead and taste the wine, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers,
yeah, of
everyone.
course.
Yeah, cheers.
Beautiful. Oof. This is a very dark red wine. It's got a picture of our Lord and Savior, George Washington. You know what? I think the founding fathers would be disappointed if they saw the country we have it today. I mean,
In what way,
For-
Luis?
For a number
Elaborate.
of reasons, I guess.
Elaborate, man.
you know, men, we're losing men. No, they need to clean their rooms.
You know, I think they would be most pissed off about the fact that they're desexualizing M&Ms. Out of everything going on nowadays, I feel like that would really grind their gears the most.
I agree.
Yeah, the
I
founding
agree.
fathers did not
Yeah.
die for nothing.
They did not come over here from good old little England and good old Europe just to have their sexy M&Ms taken away. I don't think
agree.
that's the reason they crossed the ocean blue.
I agree.
Speaking of ocean blue, this wine. I mean, if they were alive back then and they tried this wine, come on now.
I love it. It sits well on the tongue.
Especially
man.
back then, they must have been drinking piss water.
Yeah, what do you
I
guys
was
think?
about to say.
Jesus.
I've not tasted it yet.
Oh, it's like you
Tastes
said,
good, man.
spicy. It's got a nice berry taste to it.
Yeah, I think it's very spicy. I think it does have a lot of fruit, though. It's spicy, it's fruity, high acid,
Wow. Very,
easy to drink, though.
very high acid.
Yeah.
Kind of get like a tire feeling to it.
Really, I didn't notice. To be honest with you.
If it leaves your mouth moist, like if you still can swallow after you take a sip, that means it's very high acidity. I guess we should explain that, right? For some,
I kind of thought
you
it was
know.
more like the more sour notes, the more like citrus, like lemon or lime juice I feel in there.
Yeah.
the more acidity I feel.
Like when you take a bite out of an apple and it's extremely juicy.
Like a Granny Smith, a green one, and
That's
you get like
because
a
they're-
really sour one. That's acid. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Very
Okay.
similar taste. Where something's dry, you'll be like,
Yeah.
Right. No, I hear you
Damn.
saying. No, I understand. COVID, man, kind of messed up my senses. Still, I'm still.
you know that doesn't exist, right?
No, it does, bro.
Did you have it once or twice?
Twice. I just got over it
Oh wow.
3 weeks ago, a month ago.
Did you lose both your senses both times?
Well, I actually last year January, the first time I got it, I was hit hard, and it came back if you want to say that, but like it hasn't been the same. Everything is
Like since the first time.
since the first time. Mm-hmm.
oh,
and
like
then
your senses or like your taste buds?
my
Damn.
taste buds
Oh,
and
no.
smelling
So
things. So like coffee smells like shit, which is unfortunate because I absolutely love coffee. But it
Do you
just
still drink coffee?
yeah, oh yeah. It's just I can taste it
We still eat
obviously,
ass,
but
so-
like
It's not what it once was.
gotta do what you gotta do,
Exactly, brother. I didn't know you had COVID twice.
Twice, man. Yeah, got my ass kicked.
Yeah.
It's rough.
I've
And-
I've only got it once.
And I don't know. I've been thinking about getting vaccinated, but I'm not, not really sure about it. I'm kind of on the fence. And,
You know what?
If you got it twice, I'm not a doctor, but do you need to get vaccinated now? You should be filled with
Well,
antibodies.
that's the thing is,
Really?
I know people that have had the vaccination and they get sick, but they don't feel it that bad.
Yeah.
Whereas I just
That's what happened to 3 out of 5 people in my family. They all got Omicron or what we think is Omicron because it went around so fast.
who knows, man.
But they got it during like the holiday season. I had like told these guys, and nobody like even broke a fever.
Wow.
And they
All vaccinated?
yeah, all vaccinated.
Interesting.
Yeah, nobody even broke a fever. Like people just tested positive. There was one person that was like bedridden, but like that was for like 6 hours. Like
6 hours of pain.
yeah, like it was a pretty just easy isolation for them. I just had to stay away from them because they were positive for a few days.
The first time I got COVID, I was like, quote unquote, bedridden for like 5 days out of like the 2-week quarantine, and yeah, I lost my senses.
Damn,
Like, everything
that
tasted
kicked
like
your ass,
apple
too.
cider vinegar. Like you said, everything tastes like shit for your coffee. Like everything tasted like apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
Trying to eat yogurt and soups is dead.
What about you, Luis? How bad did
I got
COVID
it.
kick your ass?
I haven't gotten it twice. I did get it once, and that first time, man, it fucking wrecked me. Which is why I was so keen on getting the gene therapy shot by Moderna.
Yeah, that's right.
It is gene therapy, technically, yeah.
So the first
He
time,
got the Gates double dose.
yeah, I was like, don't shoot that cloud of fucking dust into space. Shoot it right
Put the
to my
peanut
arm.
butter consistency one. Use that one.
Yeah,
So you got the first variant last year, or
yeah, I got it when it first came through.
He
That
got
was a
the
rough
Johnson and Johnson version from 10 years ago that they had just found in a vault.
I heard Johnson & Johnson was making a vaccine, so I just went to my bathroom and I was like, I got some soap here.
I got some talcum powder. I got some
I
water.
got some talc. No, and I got it really fucking bad. This was in November of last year. And dude, it was so bad that I started thinking to myself, am I the 1% that dies? Like it was that
it crossed
bad.
my mind too. Yeah.
Like
Damn.
I was bedridden. It hurt to lay down, like to the point where I'm like, if the only thing I can compare it to was like a really rough workout. Like I would wake up from naps and like sleeping,
Like extreme muscle soreness.
and it felt like someone had like beat me up while I slept.
Right.
And I would have to change. Like thank God that at the time my bed was against the wall, so I would like lay on my side. Because if I'd lay on my back, it would just hurt that I couldn't fall asleep. My chest. I lost my sense of. I'm trying to remember if it was smell or taste. I lost my sense of smell, but I could still taste everything. So my parents would like bring me like soup and then drop it off in my room, and I'm like, I can't smell anything. Like I don't understand.
It freaks you out when you're like, it's been so long I can't smell or taste or whatever. It's like, is this how it's gonna be? Like, yeah.
So you start putting.
Where are
fucking
your
food-
senses, Joe? Like how much can you taste? How
So
much can you smell?
I can taste a fair amount, to be honest with you. I can taste. It's just certain things. I can't really give too many examples right off the head, but
Okay.
there are things that I can't.
Like for a little
Taste.
bit after the first time, like eating a burger would like just remind me of apple cider vinegar. So like I can imagine like
Yeah.
since getting off your second time, it's just your taste buds are zapped essentially.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing too about last year was I was actually quarantined for my 24th birthday.
Damn.
So I was on the couch dying. My back was blown out. Like
Yeah.
I'm just laying there, just But no, man. Hey, tough times. That's why I got a good feeling about 2022, man.
Hell yeah.
Same.
It's an energy that I've noticed with a lot of people that I continue to keep talking with. It's just something in their eyes, man, telling me it's going to be a good year.
Damn, that's
a good feeling, man. Good feeling.
I agree.
To be honest.
Hell yeah.
dude. I love that. I love that you said that. That's dope.
It's
You
true,
know,
man.
That's
2022 years
awesome.
a year of growth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We went through basically 2 years of hell.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Dude, our
2
generation,
years of people
politically,
staying away from each
economically.
other.
I think
you know.
I think our generation specifically has, and you can see why there's such a cynicism, because we've just seen like the worst of humanity.
Mhm.
Like we saw
Crisis after crisis.
We saw 9/11. We saw the Iraq
2008.
War. We saw 2008. We saw the house market crash. We saw
Mm.
presidency. You know, essentially from
Get
like
almost trying to hijack the presidency.
yeah. Well, that I was gonna go further back into like the 2000s when like you know
Al
Yeah,
Gore.
you're right.
Al Gore and
Essentially the same
Bush.
thing. Al Gore and Bush and the Supreme Court,
So you
and
saw
then
all that go down, and then you were confused, and
And then the birth of social media and Facebook and then
Yeah.
streaming services.
not only that, being born into technology with phones.
yeah, we're iPad
yeah.
babies.
For
Dude,
real.
I can't clean my room unless I got a fucking podcast going.
Same.
Dead
for
ass.
real.
Like
You know,
we,
people don't understand, like, when you're on the social media. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
When you're on social media, there is a unnecessary anxiety that comes with it.
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
And us being born with that, you know, I mean,
I know.
things are just weird.
That's why
for-
like the digital space that's like continuing to grow and grow.
Mhm.
Like I you know I think ultimately NFTs are a scam, and there's a lot of you know Marxist literature to prove it. But
What?
I mean, come on,
Of
man.
anti-capitalism.
Yeah,
And,
the overanalyzation of our economy. It's
We're-
like okay, this is what I think about when I think about like I believe in crypto. It's when it comes to like Ethereum, like specifically being used to buy like NFTs. It reminds me very much of Fortnite. And like Fortnite, you're not buying,
Oh, okay. You're buying
Skins.
skins.
you're not doing that with dollars. You're doing that with V-Bucks and coins. So it just feels the same way about it all. So it's like, all right, like this is the same
Yeah.
thing as that. Like it's pointless stuff that's digital.
Oh, okay. You're buying
Skins.
skins.
You're not doing that with dollars. You're doing that with V-Bucks and coins. So it just feels the same way about it all. So it's like, all right, like this is the same
Yeah.
thing as that. Like it's pointless stuff that's digital space. That's what an NFT is.
Yeah.
So
and NFTs and social media now with Twitter, if you pay them like a special fee, you can have your NFT as your profile picture.
yeah, you can now link it, but it's like, all right, guess what? You can still right click on their picture and save as. Like it's still the same shit. And I know it's digital space, but going back to what Joe said, the anxiety. Now you're gonna start to get kids that are like growing up and be like, damn, I don't have an NFT as my profile picture,
Yeah.
and I grew up in this digital space. This is all I know. So instead of, it's gonna fuck with their brains even more.
Yeah.
I don't have a bored ape or whatever ape they're
Yeah,
called.
Exactly.
It's
So-
hard to keep track of it. But like, just the more people are talking about it. We were talking a couple of weeks ago. We went to the movies and there was a big crypto ad, a big advertisement for crypto
Mhm.
by what's his face, Matt Damon or Ben Stiller or whatever.
Some Hollywood character.
The bubble has burst. It's gotten too big. Eventually, it's gonna.
Well, it's been down 50%. It's the lowest
Yeah.
it's been in 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
People are saying that a lot of these speculative asset bubbles are bursting right now, which is like Bitcoin, crypto. The fact
S&P is down.
the fact that like Bitcoin like is like super hard to use. It's been years and years and years, and it hasn't become any easier to use. Like,
No, right.
but yeah, like, yeah, those bubbles are popping. I saw something about how an athlete, Odell Beckham Jr., I'm sure you guys know, signed a contract with the Rams, and the contract he signed, he was like, he made a big deal about this, but he signed it for in Bitcoin. And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like while Bitcoin was at an all-time high.
With NFL.
And now, yeah, with the Rams.
Oh wow.
So now he's getting still paid.
Like he got paid in Bitcoin, but now the value of that Bitcoin dropped like crazy. So like the amount that he netted for the season was something like less than 50,000 because it dropped that much. Like his contract amount was supposed to be, you know, like a few million or whatever, and the Bitcoin dropped so much so fast because he asked for it at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Like it only has to go down from there, you know, like So I mean,
That is the funniest.
same thing with the New York City governor, by the way.
Oh, I know. He took his first
Yeah.
3 paychecks in Bitcoin.
Eric Adams.
It's like, wow, how
Yeah.
brave. How brave. And now he's probably like, damn, man, like, is this gonna pan out?
Well, those are the necessary scapegoats to eventually, like, yeah, we're doing it in Bitcoin, so if we're doing it, you should do it too.
Dude, elaborating on what Joe was saying though, social media being this harbinger of depression and anxiety to like youth everywhere. Have you guys been keeping up with Elon Musk's or one of his many companies on his portfolio, Neuralink?
Yes, I've heard a little bit about it.
I know what it is, but
So a while,
It's like Google Glasses.
a decade
right?
ago or so, he paired up with this biotech company to try to help people who have like spinal issues, brain issues, nerve issues, things like that, right? He was supposed to be at the forefront of helping people with injuries like that. But within that process of the last 10 years, he's shifted his focus to more of a consumer base rather than medical applications of this technology. And the technology being quite literally like an internal chip in your brain that like allows you to enter like the online universe.
The 100% of your brain, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
and this is like all real. You know, they've been experimenting on apes for like
rats, I believe. too.
animals for
Bro,
quite a
they've
few
been-
years, and they wanted to start experimenting on humans like in the near future.
I'm in.
Some workplaces, there was a workplace, an article a couple years ago in Wisconsin
Sign me
that
up.
had a chip in your forearm to get in and out of buildings. Wasn't that a big thing? a couple
Yeah,
years
I
ago?
think I remember
Here
that,
in
yeah.
Wisconsin,
That'd be
some
kinda
company
dope.
tried to urge like,
It was like some sort of RFID pass.
yeah, to get in and out of the building and
Yeah.
track your lunches and all that stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
but this is like 100 times that. This is
exactly.
like Black Mirror.
Like in your brain.
Yeah, in your brain. You just like shut your eyes off. You can be in the corner, and suddenly you're on like, wherever you want to be, in the bottom of the ocean, your favorite porn studio, whatever, man.
Hell yeah.
We're kind of in our favorite porn studio now. I mean, that is a black couch. So,
oh, you talking about our current studio right now?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
It's got a nice vibe here.
again, I think that we're just steering in that direction already. Like it feels more and more like,
Why not?
yeah,
Why not? I mean, what do we have to lose besides,
our humanity.
I mean, the earth is already going to shit.
Our sanity.
I mean, I just watched The Matrix not too long ago, and again, it makes me feel like, are we that far from this? Truly, are we that far?
You know, like cyberpunk, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does
Why
feel
not,
like
dude?
we're close to just,
Ready Player One.
yeah, like we're just all gonna take. I took a fucking Oculus day, over the holidays when I put on like the Oculus, and you really do like teleport.
It's
Like,
hard.
You just put that thing on, and you're like, this is not okay.
That's my point.
Yeah.
100% I agree with you.
So now
Luis.
imagine
You're
if that was
totally
just
right.
an on and off switch.
That you just blink twice and
Yeah.
suddenly you're there,
It's like
I feel
connect.
like
Click your heels.
I feel like he's not trying to create I don't think he's trying to create like a metaverse. I don't think that's what he's trying to do.
Oh,
though.
with the
I
Neuralink?
think-
With the Neuralink, I believe he's trying to like actually use it for the better rather than just.
No, he did.
Did he say
did
he's gonna use
say
it for like a
he-
social media platform?
Yeah, he did say that he wanted to shift like to a more consumer base
Well, I mean, like,
platform.
consumer-based platform could be like a
And-
different
and
healthcare,
and he-
like his own like healthcare Neuralink. Like, oh, instead of going through Blue Cross, Blue Shield, sign up for Elon Musk.
He
healthcare
did
deal.
specifically also bring up the
He'll put a chip in your
metaverse
brain.
and Facebook.
I mean, that's
So,
not surprising at all.
Yeah,
I got to say anything
I mean,
Elon does,
there-
I'm on.
there's
I'm
just,
on the train, man.
there's just a lot. Dude, Elon Musk is low key like kind of scammy.
Sociopath, scammy. He hasn't created a company. He's just bought into them.
Like the Hyperloop that he was supposed to produce in California, and
That he
how,
got-
Oh, the boring tunnels.
yeah, how
billions
it
of
was supposed to
dollars.
be like this incredible
But he was turned down,
Jetsons like
wasn't he?
technology, and where your car can just zoom in and like pop out in different parts of the city.
Big
It's
tunnels.
literally just become tunnels, but only for Tesla cars.
Yeah, he got funding for research from California, but then it didn't go past that.
I can see why he only has it for Tesla though, because I guess it could be a liability issue if it were just a regular car in there.
No, but to an extent, and at the same, but he did mention like this is going to be the transportation of the future.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
I
gonna
did-
be how we solve traffic.
because it is safer to have, especially in places like where they're at in California and stuff like that, getting earthquakes. Apparently, when I watched a video long ago, and it was about this. Yeah, the tunnels go through, and they are actually able to
Flex
dance with the
Okay.
the earthquakes.
Could
Makes
be,
sense,
yeah.
Shift along the tectonic plates.
Could be. It just seemed like slightly convenient that
I hear what you're saying.
the design
totally.
at this point means that only my current cars that I create are the ones that can go in.
Ooh, breaking news. Trump tards are cutting off their Carhartt logos. So Carhartt CEO has
Not my clothing wear.
yeah, it's not. So they have stated that they are mandating vaccines, which has ultimately been hit with a boycott from everybody on the right wing. And ultimately, I'm pro it, bro. I fucking love wearing Carhartt. That shit is durable. And if you're telling me that it's gonna be even more in stock than it currently is, then you know what, man? I think
You
that
told me it's gonna go on discount.
yeah.
Sign me up.
That's
I
like
think-
the Midwest American Eagle, Carhartt.
Oh, bro, you wish. That shit's a Midwest Gucci.
Bro, Carhartt is expensive, but I'll tell you what, it
It's
lasts
worth it,
long.
man. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's 100% worth it. Yeah, you're a construction guy. You're a laborer.
Yeah, I did tree work too, man. I wore the jackets, the bibs, the
Oh,
boots,
fuck yeah.
anything I can get, hats.
That shit.
Would you
is
consider that
legit.
statement offensive then? Do you have to be a Trumper to like good clothing? I mean,
Well, no, those are the people who are outraged.
is this just Trumper or is this
I
the
think it's-
blue collar?
I think it's
blue
just
collar?
Trumpers just being.
Yeah, I
You
think
know.
it's just Trumpies being Trumpies. They're
crying.
Low key though, to be fair, Starbucks did the same thing.
With what?
Starbucks, being like a super progressive company, did not mandate it would not mandate a vaccine. So people are also boycotting them
people are boycotting Starbucks
for the fact that they would not mandate the vaccine.
That's very interesting
so-
on both fronts.
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate, to be
Yeah.
honest. Because they are giving their. I know a lot of people that worked for factories and stuff. 13, 20 plus years, and now they're getting fired because or they were on the brinks of it. I'm not really sure what the status of it is now.
Well, I know there was it ultimately got turned
got
down.
Yeah.
Where a company, if they had 100 or more employees, needed, I think, at least 90% to be vaccinated.
There was some sort of threshold like that. Yeah.
But it specifically had to do with 100 employees or more.
But it was ultimately at their own discretion. At that
Now
point,
it's
right?
being left up to their own discretion.
Yeah.
They at the time though, the mandate, which was an executive order by Biden, was that companies of 100 or more, like Luis said, had to either test every week. You had to have the employee test, or they would have to have the vaccine mandated up to a certain percentage.
I think it was 90%. And then the last 10% was health or religious concerns.
Yeah, but they that shit got struck down in court. So
Immediately.
yeah,
Which, I mean,
not now though. It's just being left up to each company. So
yeah, it's definitely more, which I
it's
think
more
it should be.
patchwork.
Which I think it should be. I think
Yeah.
it should be more company forward. It depends on, because I work for a small owned company, and ultimately for us it was we encourage getting it, but we're not going to force anyone to do it. And there's people I work with that didn't get it, that ultimately got super sick. There's people that I did work with that got sick who did get the vaccine. So it's at your own discretion, I guess. Just I thought it was interesting because Carhartt is a very, like you said, it's the Gucci of the Midwest. It's people who wear it on a regular basis are typically people who work in construction and people who are laborers,
Yeah.
and those people
Farmers.
are typically right wing.
Mhm.
So it just felt very, very interesting that the CEO was like,
Yeah, it's a little ass
"Fuck
backwards.
Yeah, I saw videos of I've had this Carhartt hat for 10 years, thick and through.
They're
and
cutting the logo,
burning it up, and
Fucking
Not
I don't know,
really.
guys. It kind of smells like cancel culture to me.
but
But
what can you do? Though?
It's like people burning their LeBron jerseys after he left. It's like, fuck you. You're gonna turn down a great product.
Can we just agree that burning a product in general is kind of childish.
It is so
So
stupid.
childish.
It's kind of like attention seeking, you know.
It's fucking stupid.
It's very.
You bought it.
Your parents didn't give you enough energy.
I always find it interesting when people get so mad over things that don't affect them.
If you want to make a change or make a difference or have your voice or go loot, go riot.
I couldn't
That's
agree more.
Great idea.
I couldn't agree more. We encourage on Bro Taste This to go looting and go riot. Thank you for pointing that out, Phil.
I should be following what Joe Biden said.
What's up, baby?
Breaking news. My heart rate is at 80. It's very high. Seems like it's very high.
All this talk about patriotism.
Yours
Carhartt.
is usually even higher.
80? Well, there was one day where it was like 100. Like we were just sitting here. That's
good,
weird.
bro?
That seems like it's high. 80 is not bad for just sitting here.
Go take a lap.
My resting heart rate is usually like
Lance Armstrong
in the
would be upset
50s.
with you right now.
He would be.
He'd be
That's true.
disappointed.
Dude, his resting heart rate was in the 40s.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I know.
Lance Armstrong, the biker guy.
And
Yeah.
he didn't need
With
any
one nut?
testicles to do that.
Yeah, I was just saying, he has one testicle.
That's all will,
Exactly.
baby.
So Wisconsin has removed a temporary restraining order that blocks 7 healthcare workers from leaving their jobs to begin working at a competitor. We want to take this next segment to specifically focus on healthcare workers, frontline workers, and nurses, because we've been doing a lot of reading and research this week on the mistreatment, the low staffing, the purpose low staffing, and one thing that I found really, really interesting is that for the first at this point now, we have the most nurses in America than ever before.
The most licensed nurses.
But how those people are refusing to work under restricted conditions. Juan, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, I mean, let's go off of first of all the general situation, like what you were saying. We're learning that the financialization of the healthcare industry, and specifically the way that not what are supposed to be nonprofits, are multiple hospital systems throughout the country, have a lot of what most people would consider bloat, people who are just administrators, paper pushers, who are kind of siphoning the majority of the profits that these hospitals are making. Specifically with the case here in Wisconsin, me and Philip were learning that on the way here that this is Theta Care, a hospital that is currently suing 7 Wisconsin nurses and other various professionals in the hospital industry for daring to leave their current job and getting a better work-life balance and just benefits package in general at a different job, even though they are under no contract, any salary. They are employed under at-will laws and rules, meaning they can get fired at any point, but they can also leave at any point. But their hospital is literally taking them to court rather than offering them a better benefits package, a better compensation package, because they don't want them to set the precedent, right, that anybody can leave and just ask for better pay. And it's just incredible that this particular hospital, Theta Care here, and was it Appleton?
Appleton, Wisconsin.
That's right. They have in 2020 they had made $750 million on a hospital of under 500 beds, and that they had been winning awards for how good their profit margins were. Like just 1 year prior, they were winning awards for how good they were at bringing in money.
Just hoarding all the revenue
Exactly, and
coming in.
so the company, it has all this money, it's swimming in money, but it's not sharing that money with the people who are quite literally bringing that money in on the front lines, with the nurses, the doctors.
Backbone.
Exactly. And it's just a great example of what is really a microcosm of nursing in general in the country, like Luis was saying, how at the time nursing and emergency rooms are currently being designed so that nurses are basically running on like almost like a server having 10 tables, right? Like a nurse has way too many patients for them, like that is safe, and that at the end can kind of present itself in a bunch of bad situations if you ever end up in the hospital.
Right.
You know, like
They were calling it flex scheduling, which is the bare minimum scheduled people that they can have in order to run. And this has been a boiling pot of disaster and a ticking time bomb, because when, specifically we saw a feature that was presented by the New York Times of these nurses talking. And one specifically said, usually you get 5 people maximum that die at a hospital. Like, most people actually don't die in a hospital. And it went from 5 people to like 5 to 10 people a day to like 30 a day. Like, just because they couldn't keep up with simply having all those patients in beds and not enough nurses to take care of them. So you see in their brains very, very similar results to what frontline soldiers had, because they're just in these very, very high stress, intense situations and ultimately being calm and patient. But then the moment that situation is over, they would, have to go home and relax, and they just couldn't do it.
Deal with all the trauma of people dying. Like, at this point last year, the number one hashtag on Twitter was RIP, because of the amount of people that were passing away. So imagine being like you said, a nurse or
dealing with that on
health
on a
day-to-day basis.
daily basis.
and then going back home and potentially bringing that to your family.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, like, in this modern era, everyone's bunking up together. Everyone's got big families, immediate families, and a lot of these nurses
Multi-generational homes
are from like minorities, right? And a lot of the minorities are like grouping up together and
in those multi-generational homes.
killing off your poor grandmas and grandmas.
Yeah. And I find it super. I don't know how you guys feel about it. They get called heroes, but they're being treated
It's almost like a substitute rather than treating them right.
right.
We'll
It's like,
just
oh, you're such a hero.
give you
for
a few pats on the back and
Right.
and,
And
hope
then
that you accept
being
that.
thrown out there to the wolves, and it's like, that's not a hero, bro. Like, these people are being mistreated. They're being misled, so that when they get into this industry, a lot of them are like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's why you see, like, we have the highest of all time number of registered nurses, but hospitals just refuse to want to hire people on the case of, well, because they're going to complain, or maybe they left their job due to the fact that they did just not like the environment.
No. And like Juan was saying, instead of like matching their desired wages, they just took them to court.
They literally took him to court. They have a national court battle with him instead of
I think
paying them the better wages.
if I'm correct, currently now that got lifted, so they
Yes.
can work at Avion.
Yes.
I think it's called Avion or
Ascension.
Ascension.
Yeah, so Timothy Breister, one of the Theta Care employees who received the offer from Ascension, had submitted a letter to the judge that said that he and his coworker applied to Ascension because they believed it provided a better work-life balance, according to the Pro Crescent. So the fact that they took him to court just feels like, God damn, man, like, couldn't you have just met him halfway?
Yeah.
Couldn't, like, just like hire more employees?
Improvise.
Especially
Yeah.
in Wisconsin, it's an at-work state.
At will. Yeah.
At will or at work.
At will. Yeah.
It's something to say. It's like same thing with like firefighters. Even they get paid crap.
Oh,
Oh,
they
yeah.
For my
100%
knowledge, at least, unless
agree.
you're in the city, then you might make.
No,
a
you're right.
decent-
You're right.
And
And they count on like a volunteer force,
exactly.
even though like, yeah, I mean, that's people doing it out of their own goodwill, but like,
Where
how many of those people kind of thought, oh, I heard fireman was a good career, and they just kind of got into it thinking something like that,
Or maybe they just
Yeah.
want to do good,
Yeah.
and that's why
Right.
they go into the industry.
And where I was going with that was like, they know what they're signing up for. You be straight up with them, you be honest, and same thing with the nurses. It's like, hey, listen, things are gonna get tough. Brace yourself. Every once in a great while, but like all the time. You're right. It gives you PTSD. I mean, even you guys know, working in the restaurant. I mean, minus the dead bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The intensity of it.
Yeah.
Right?
You are
it's-
under a lot of pressure.
It can be traumatizing at times.
Yeah, I think you very much hit it on the head there when you said, you do tell these people like, hey, get prepared for the worst.
Right.
But you're telling them get prepared for the worst every now and then when they're like having to go in there every day.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
And one nurse specifically, I wish I knew their name, and we'll definitely leave it in the description down below. They say like as quickly as they could clean the bed, it would be filled up with somebody else.
That's right.
Just
Yep.
to flip the bed, and
Dude, does that shit not sound like a high pressure restaurant?
yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Like, just listening to that, like, but almost instead of serving people, like there's
serving their lives.
That
Serving
Yeah.
death.
I
mean,
specifically want to say we do not consider the restaurant work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no,
not at all.
nowhere.
Not at
I just
all.
want to clarify
comparable.
that.
It's just
Like we're just talking about slightly
Very high
comparable
pressure. Yeah.
situations.
It's almost ludicrous.
And I'm
that
just
they're
saying
placed in
slightly
that position.
comparable.
I just want to.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. Just Joe, as someone who left the restaurant industry, what was the main reason?
for me leaving the industry.
Yeah.
Well, it was just under 8 years that I served.
Mhm.
You know, I did.
And you serve this country well.
Yeah,
me just say.
yeah. You know, I slang the best drinks I could sling.
Oh, so you were a bartender?
I was a bartender. Yeah,
Okay,
I
hell
started out as a bar back, so it's just a bartender's bitch,
Okay.
and then
The hierarchy of the
you
bar.
just-
bar
yeah,
life?
basically. And I learned how to dance behind a bar, and
Did you?
for 4 years, yeah, bro. No, not dance. Like I'm saying, like dance with the you
Like
know
the
bartenders.
bartenders and
okay.
stuff? Oh,
No,
okay.
not like stripping.
Do you know any tricks? Like you can like flip a
Just balancing bottles, like.
so you can't go
nothing-
coyote ugly on this. Like,
no,
flip
I
bottles
wish.
everywhere and
That's
shit?
bartending. But
Okay.
you know, basically, all right. So to your question, the thing that pushed me away, honestly, it was I would say that the customers and the poor management is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very.
And I'm not ripping or saying any names because that's just not, you know,
No, we can
not.
deduct from the last.
Yeah,
place
sure,
you worked
sure.
at. No worries.
uh,
We'll leave that in the notes.
We
for
know what your last serving job was. We don't have to.
We'll link the address in the description.
Yeah. I'll have my team check your taxes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I appreciate it. My agent will call yours.
Thank you.
But it's crazy that the way the attitude people can act at servers and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because
yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm paying
You,
for this.
you know, I give respects actually to servers being a bartender because when you're a bartender, you're hiding behind the bar. You're not out in the open presenting to a table, you know, all that stuff. Or to me, that's just. Granted, you're on a stage regardless, right? You're on a stage whether
Yeah.
you're serving or you're bartending, but.
And standing behind a bar, you get some like more authority, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah,
'Cause,
it's
like,
your
You
bar.
think so?
It's your
It-
bar, absolutely.
Dude, it feels great whenever somebody is like acting a way they're not supposed to, and you're just like snapping them. Hey,
Yeah.
like almost like a substitute teacher at like Little Troublesome Timmy. You know, like, hey,
Get your
settle
act
down.
together. Get your act together, boys.
Step out from back the bar.
Yeah.
But little Timmy is like a grown man that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
way too
With
inebriated.
And then they
Big
look at
beard
you
guy.
and they're like, you could have said please. And then at that point, you're like, that's fucking common sense, Susan.
As a bartender, you do deal with some shit, man. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I had this one couple that was fucking insane. So I started working at this place, and this couple came in. They were like chit-chatting at the bar, and they were like they were overly nice, and they were like, yo, you're such a handsome, like the guy specifically was like, dude, you're so handsome. I bet you fuck all the time. And I was like, wrong and wrong. But it was just really, really off, right? Like, you don't say that to like a random person you don't know. And
You should be like, oh, this is my OnlyFans.
Here's my card.
Support my work.
then I found out
Share
that,
this on Instagram.
then I found out that this couple had actually had problems at that same restaurant before. Like, he was sucking on her toes one time, like
What the
Jesus
fuck?
like
Christ.
mid dinner. Like, they were out in the patio area when this happened. Still not acceptable. Like, still not acceptable. And he'd be like asking me questions, and he'd be like groping her in front of me and like touching her in front of me. But then I found out a very interesting story. So they were married
She was a mail order
to
bride.
two separate people, and they would meet up every other Saturday morning from at 9 a.m. at this hotel/restaurant, and they would come in, and they would. I would always work Saturday morning, so they would like meet up with me, and I was part of like their queue. And they again always super like sexual. They'd make me feel really uncomfortable. Like, they'd make out tonguing, like, dude, it's like 8 a.m, bro. Like, families are having breakfast with their kids. Like, it's fucking grandma's birthday in the corner. Like, she don't want to see that shit. And I would see them have like super, super highs and then super, super lows. And there was a few incidents that really, really stood out to me. One was they were like really intimate and they were like really loving. And he said to her, I can't believe my fucking wife is being a bitch to me. She fucking hates me, and I'm fucking redoing the bathroom, and I can't believe she's doing this to me. And he said to her, I wish you were the mother of my daughters. And I was like,
Damn.
Hell yeah.
up. And then one time, they took photos together or something, but she was going through his phone, and then she just storms out. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, hey, man, like, can I get you guys another drink or something? He goes, no, we'll just take the bill. And she comes back, and she's crying.
Damn.
And he's, like, giving her shit. He's like, oh, how can you be mad at that? That's not even a bad picture. And he shows it to me, and he's like, I could have helped. I could have used your help this night. And it was a picture of him with, like, single moms in their mid-30s. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. And she's like, I never want to fucking see you again. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm just wasting my time with you. And then she's like crying. She leaves, and he pays the bill. And he's like, man, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, no, time to find another one. An hour goes by. They come back walking in together. And I was like, okay. And she literally says to me, she's like, I bet you think we're the craziest people you've ever taken care of. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking
You
do.
Weirdos.
How'd you know?
And dude, I didn't even tell you the best part. The guy gifted me a jacket one time that I still have to this day. He was like, do you like flannels? And I was like, yeah, I love flannels. And
Oh, is that your flannel?
the blue
jean
flannel?
jacket thing?
Yeah, the blue flannel that I always wear. It's a fucking nice flannel.
It is a nice
He
jacket.
brought it in, covered in newspaper as a wrapping gift. He's like, here, man, you take it. And I was like,
That's a solid man right there.
I can't accept this.
You are an accessory.
Dude, that shit
to
has
my
bad
infidelity.
juju, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That shit has all the bad
I should
juju.
burn
burn
that.
it, huh? I should burn it, huh?
Just burn it.
I'm gonna burn it tonight.
Right now.
I'm gonna
In
throw it
protest.
away.
trash
Bro, it probably has
Boycott.
some like ancient curse on it, like you will never marry until
Dude, since I've gotten that, I've
or
got
since you've worn this.
pretty bad things have happened to me. So I'm probably gonna burn it.
You should have just gone up to the table like straight bricked up one day.
I was
Just see
always
what-
bricked up. What are you talking about?
Just to see the reaction, you know.
They were super weird and super
I
awkward.
bet they were like swingers. I bet you that guy's like, oh, you'd be good for my wife type thing. You know what I'm saying, dude?
You look like a good young bull.
Yeah.
I would tell my girlfriend these stories, and that was also her theory.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, they were trying to fuck you. Like,
Yeah,
why else do you
probably.
think they were super nice to you? And I was like, yeah,
Oh, hell no.
I don't think that's the case.
The Europeans, man.
Yeah,
Europeans.
what are you gonna do?
Bro, they sound Russian to me.
Speaking of Russia,
Little Dmitry and Nikita.
Russia is about to invade Ukraine. Who will stop them? No one, because it's fucking Russia. You don't invade Russia during the winter. Hitler found out the wrong way. Juan, do you want to take it away, please?
All right, homies. Well,
Ah,
the
bad
mainstream media that has famously gotten
These libtards.
9/11 wrong, the Afghanistan war wrong, Iraq wrong, Vietnam wrong.
things. Vaccines. What? Who said that? What the hell?
In a way, now we're supposed to trust their essentially CIA planted sources that for the fact that there are tensions between Ukraine and Russia right now. And while to anybody like who's paid attention to that region, NATO has been absorbing more and more former Soviet countries for going on 2 decades now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've low-key been insulting them and like crouching closer and closer to their border, but now we have like the people or the hawks in the media beating the war drums and essentially asking us, the working class people and population, if we're ready to provide our kids like for the next Afghanistan that might be in Ukraine, it might be in China. So I guess that's like the subject of today's like discussion and
or are
like
we not?
the reason that I want to bring that shit up. Like, do you guys feel like we should be getting ourselves involved in something like that? Or
If you go back and listen to Jim Black's episode, which is episode 8, I believe. Yes, I think that sounds right. He broke
most
down
interesting man.
the
That's
most interesting
title.
man in the world. I recommend everyone who is just interested in news to go listen to that podcast because he breaks down pretty much what happened in El Salvador during the 1980s when
The Dirty Wars.
when America was claiming that we were going to go down there and stop communism, because if we don't stop them there, they're going to end up in our backyard, boys. And obviously that was never going to happen. This feels America thrives when there's an enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And right
Yeah.
now they need an enemy. Like,
Yeah.
because our own enemy is ourselves. We're just like,
We are divided.
exactly, protest after protest, divide after divide. And, I think that these conglomerates in the media and in Congress are like, we need somebody to point our finger to and be like, we need to go stop them because they are the problem. And I feel like they're trying to use Russia as a scapegoat. But I find it interesting because Arseniy Yatsenyuk served as Ukraine's prime minister from 2014 to 2016, came to power as Russia was invading the country. And he was asked if the Ukrainian military...
Is it Yanukovych?
No, this was the prime minister of 14 to 16
Okay.
Of
But-
Ukraine?
of Ukraine. But he was asked specifically, like, do you think the Ukrainian military is strong enough to defeat Russia? And he says he does. So why
Yeah.
the fuck are we going to get involved over
Yeah.
something that's not... Like, I understand the thought process. I understand the propaganda. I
Yeah.
understand the mind games. I understand all of that. But Russia is the best at that. Russia is the best at mind games. They're the best at these dark arts. They're the best at fucking propaganda. Why the fuck do we want to get involved right now? Did you guys hear that?
That was
Yeah.
Russia. The KGB coming in.
Oh, fuck.
Dude,
Uh,
Putin heard you.
I pledge my I pledge my allegiance to Russia.
Dude, I would not drink that tea right by you.
But
Yeah, you don't think so?
No.
as far as Ukraine's
It was
fighting
served
chance,
before I got here.
they do hold a good fighting chance because they've been getting most of the military tech from the U.S.
Yeah, the U.S. Since Obama has been funding what essentially equate to like neo-Nazi militias in the Ukraine to be like their rebel group to stand up against the Russians. But like another a few details that
Moving pieces?
I don't believe like the American media does a good job of presenting to us is like the fact that after World War II and the reunification of Germany, where there used to be a communist side and the Western side. After they unified that, Russia was essentially given the word that NATO was not going to expand eastward, and was not going to expand 1 inch. West into Russia, moving from Europe, and that has been a promise that like they have seen as like, well, you guys literally keep breaking that every other year. You guys literally keep absorbing these small countries into NATO, and you guys are encroaching closer and closer and closer to us. So like that is the justification that they are literally using to.
So they're saying because NATO agreed that they won't start taking over these smaller countries to get closer to Russia.
Yeah.
That's the reason Russia won't.
That's the
do the
reason
same
that they
thing?
are like answering back, and like because like their people imagine if you were the Russian people, like you're gonna be like, oh well, you're such a weak president, like you're not answering to NATO, this and that. So he literally has to like act like a strong man and saber rattle up to the West now, like because we keep kind of like encroaching closer
Encroaching on
and closer,
him.
and it's like a very important historical promise that was made to them, like that we would like this border will not move 1 inch towards you. Meanwhile, decade after decade, it keeps moving closer and closer and closer. So like now they're sitting there like you guys like keep lying to us, and we have no choice to not trust you. And the thing is that parts of Ukraine, like even if I empathize with like the people in the Ukraine who want to keep like a democracy, like yeah, I do think that for the most part people should be able to govern like the majority of their own lives, but I don't think that like we empathize enough that I'm willing to risk nuclear war to potentially protect them. And as
Yeah.
cold as that sounds, that's the truth. Like for the U.S. to involve itself in a conflict with Russia, it would not be an AK-47 war in the Middle East. No. It would literally be enough firepower to destroy the earth like 50 times over.
That's why I think that it's a very scary game that we're playing, because we're playing this like behind the scenes, trying to, like you said, CIA informatives and all these other like
COVID ops, essentially.
Yeah, just if we start to do that, it's not going to go well. Because history is only going to repeat itself, and like it happened during the Cold War. Like this is literally a repeat of that, but Like you said, we have nuclear warfare that is literally going to flatten entire cities and countries, and we have that tenfold to what we did in the past. And now, before they could even act, we could press a button now as a country, and it's over. Like, so what's stopping them from doing the same?
I mean, back then during the Cold War, the big mega powers was just the U.S. and Russia, the USSR. But now we got China as a big conglomerate, and Iran. They're allied essentially with Russia and China.
China and Russia are essentially, China and Iran are essentially allied to. Bro, who's gonna back the U.S. in this? Like,
Yeah, no, for real though, because the European countries are looking at us like, "What are you guys doing? Stop!" It's
yeah, they're like, "This is gonna result badly for everyone."
Yeah.
But I think, bro,
yeah, and Phil's right. Like, it's interesting to like see that their neighbors, like the Ukrainians' neighbors, don't feel like they themselves have to like risk their own skin, their own their own kids to like send them in a conflict that is way closer to them than it is to us.
So why the fuck are we gonna just be like, all right, boys, the draft's coming?
Yep.
Dude, and like I have this guy at work who has like been talking about the Ukraine-Russia situation for, I'll give him props, like 2 months now. And he's saying like, I hope you all are ready, like war is coming. I was like, dude, you have like 3 kids. Like,
who do you think is
like,
gonna go?
Yeah, I was like, dude, like you really want your kids to fight in that? Like over like some Cold War propaganda you grew up with?
If I was your age, I would be my honor to die for this country.
That's how these old people feel, because they're like, I'm too old to. But it's like, bro, I saw this thing that was like, I specifically said, strong men create easy times.
Oh yeah.
Easy times create easy men. Easy men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Isn't that the point? Isn't the point of technological advancement to keep moving forward? Like, why would strong men create more hard times? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
And these like boomers and people in their 30s are like, you better get off your phone and start picking up that AK in practice. It's like, why? Why? Like, what is the point of any of this? Like, isn't the point of us to like fucking move forward and create a much better living for our grandkids? Yeah, and our grandkids' grandkids.
But it takes resources and money to get that. And the best way to get resources and money, gotta invade places, doggy dog.
But Russia don't even have shit that we want. Like, GM just
Yeah, Russia's a failing state. They're like a failing petro state. They have the economy the size of Florida.
Well, what the hell do they
Like
want?
they really
Yugoslavia
do.
and all that
Like they
stuff?
really do. If you guys look into it, like Russia has an economy the size of Florida. Like Russia is looked at this boogeyman in the media as like this like super scary boogeyman. But like that's just some Cold War era shit that like our
It doesn't
American
exist.
psyche has not necessarily gotten past. Like we see like so many movies, Rambo, like the
Who was he
Ruskies,
fighting?
you know, like, oh, who's the bad guy in the movies? It's the Ruskies, you know, like you got to get to the Ruskies. Like there's just this shit that we grow up with.
So
so
there
like,
is a chip shortage. Why the fuck are we? They don't
Yeah.
have that. Oh, GM just
Exactly.
invested billions of dollars in Ohio. Fuck it. Let's put one in Kansas.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's bring one to Wisconsin. Like, why are we focused on
copy
shit?
and paste that fucking factory like 100 times over. Like what
Exactly.
is wrong with them?
It doesn't make
That has
any
to.
sense.
Yeah.
They don't have any resources that are going to help us in the future.
I mean, we're closer to what Juan's saying. We're closer to that because they're trying to deregulate the age of work in most of the states now. So, like, yeah, I mean, copy and paste.
Yeah,
have a
like
bunch of the kids
how
just
they're
go in there.
trying to lower the age of truck drivers. I thought that.
Oh, they're going to put him at 18?
yeah,
And
that
they're
should
gonna
kind of
try to simulate training through
VR or
through
something.
VR
Yeah.
setup.
That's smart. I get that.
Yeah.
Like a plane simulator.
Yeah.
That's
Because it does
that's
work
cool.
for real pilots.
Yeah,
But I don't
that
know
is-
if-
But I don't know if like I trust a fucking 18-year-old
Yeah,
with
newly graduated.
with a potential life of 20. You know, like
He's TikToking on the side. And like,
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen is they're gonna end up putting like mechanical drivers in these that are gonna be autopiloted by these kids at home.
some sort of like
hell.
mechanical robot Siri.
Like
Like
Iron
just-
Man is
yeah.
gonna be like in the seat driving, and it's gonna be a kid at home like, fuck, time to clock in for my shift, and just sit at his laptop, put on the Oculus on, and then it's like, All right.
Grab his
clocking it.
PS4.
Oh hell no!
And literally just start.
Kind of like a person who drives a drone in the military.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like that, and they're just
Yeah.
gonna be well trained enough. They're gonna be like, all right.
But he's just
Unmanned
got done,
vehicle.
He's just got done going through puberty. Just,
Yeah, dude, he's gonna be able to drive and jerk off at the same time. What more do these kids want?
Luis, dude, I
That's
don't
hard,
know
bro.
what you're complaining about, man.
Wait,
I think little Luis Pablo Jr. is gonna love driving for Amazon and Walmart. I think he's gonna
got no choice.
have the time of his life.
It's either that or I'm sending him to the military.
and like you mentioned, you can get a good jerk off session.
Hey man. All right, let's give our final thoughts on the wine.
Great point.
No, I've
good.
just been pounding this glass.
Jojo, what do you think about the wine?
The wine is delicious, man. Went down smooth and easy, you know.
It's
right.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like it would go really well with a fat steak right now.
Yeah.
I would love to eat
Potatoes.
this with a burger.
A
Yup.
burger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would just say a slightly greasy protein in general. I can see myself doing like a steak, a burger, a pork chop, like things like that. Oh, dude, I would just because it's high acidity,
Yeah.
it's spicy, you know, like whatever protein you're gonna serve this with, you want to like kill that shit with some black pepper, you know, like have it match the spice level in this wine. And I mean that's normal and almost anticipated with this being a Zinfandel. You hope that it's spicy, it's fruity, it's just
A
you know
cl- a
layered all
conglomerate of
around.
everything.
That's right.
Phil,
I would pair this with a good, some good chicken curry. Good, nice coconut taste.
A
It got
man
nice little
of culture.
spiciness. Like Juan was saying about the Zinfandel,
Yeah.
the wine and the highest. I can't say that word.
What'd you call me?
Acidity.
High acidity. Wow, that took a lot to say. High acidity and the oak will pair really well with some chicken curry.
out of 5 bros, Phil.
The Zinfandel. 4. No, 4. Yeah, 4.
Juan.
I'm gonna go 3.
We'll go 4.
I'm gonna go 4 also. For its price point, this is a really, really,
Yeah, it's a very affordable wine.
Mm-hmm.
really affordable wine, and also just like very palatable. Like
What's it called again? The Federalist.
this is the Federalist Lodi Zinfandel.
Mm-hmm.
You can get it at your local retailer for about $17.99. So, gentlemen,
Oh, I was gonna say I must have gotten this on special then because it was like $14.99 at the Pig. You know,
Hey.
bro, Piggly Wiggly.
bro, I'm telling you, dude. I think Wisconsin subsidizes its alcohol. Like it pushes people to drink because if you travel anywhere outside of the state, wine, booze, it's much more expensive.
I did have
Higher
somebody
tax.
ask me this past weekend of January 26th. They were like, "How much is Wisconsin food tax?" And I was like, "I'm not entirely
You're
sure."
like, what's that? What's a food tax?
5%, isn't it?
It's 5.5.
State tax.
But they were like, "Yeah," because we looked at the bill and it's like, "Wow, like Iowa, I think is at 7."
Oh.
And then I know that Wisconsin's around 5. I think
Yeah.
specifically it's 5.5. But I was like, yeah, I think it's only 5.5. And we also don't get. I don't know if this
Dude,
has
I'm
changed.
surprised with that
What,
about
alcohol
Iowa because they're
tax?
like I don't
I
think
don't know.
they've seen a Democrat in 30 years.
We also don't get taxed in Wisconsin. We don't pay a premium on red meat because it's
'Cause
mostly
it's
local.
The Lord's meat.
Yeah, because it's. And on the 7th day, God
Yes.
rested and had himself a beef tenderloin.
That's right.
You got to beat the
A
meat.
little beef welly.
With that being said, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. We're just going to let that play for a while.
And we're back. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
DJ, put a little bit more snare in my hands.
You tell my headphones up.
Anyways,
Welcome back.
welcome back,
Welcome
everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Much needed.
We're here
We took a
on
much-needed
episode
break.
20, right?
Yep, that's
Episode
correct.
20.
With our special guest, Joe Goldberg,
All right, how's it
right
going?
over here. So, Joe, I wanted to ask you something ever since basically I laid eyes on you today. How does it feel to have as much like 70s porn star swag as you do?
Gee.
If I were you, I would like walk around with the confidence of like a president, a billionaire, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
A rug dealer.
I would just be the most fucking big, have the biggest head, have the largest ego.
I'm gonna have to correct you. It's more of an '80s.
All right, thank you.
That I'm
Appreciate
going
that.
with.
All right.
I was just
know-
saying because
More trimmed.
for the people who aren't in the room,
We'll
this
take a
guy has
photo. We'll take a photo.
a beautifully coiffed hairstyle. He's wearing a gold chain link fence.
He's wearing a gold. He's wearing a
He's wearing
Cuban.
some sick ass
He's
glasses
wearing a Cuban.
Appreciate
and a
it.
dope ass mustache.
Don't forget the Converse.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's got,
Yeah.
and he's got Converse on.
I appreciate it.
Pretty well grounded.
For anybody who wants to mug him, Juan just gave a clear description of what
Yep.
he's wearing.
I drive a minivan. No,
Has some painting supplies.
listen.
Exactly.
Mustache.
The mustache, it has a lot of power and it has a lot of downsides to it too. I mean,
I'm
What
assuming
would
it
be
takes
a
a lot of
downside?
grooming.
listen. Okay, no. Honestly, the grooming's easy. You just got to get that to a science. That's no issue.
It's become a routine for you.
Yes, exactly. The hair grows quick,
Yeah.
so whatever.
He's like, I got a special comb.
Yeah.
I've gotten it's a 50-50 where a lot of people are like, hey, I love the mustache, the glasses, the backwards hat, it looks good.
Okay.
And then other times it's like, what's up with the mustache and the pedophile glasses? And I'm just like, damn, dog. Like, you know how long it took me to get out of the house, dude? Like, it took me a half hour. I was standing in front of the mirror if I should. Now you knocked down 2 hours of building myself up to go to a bar.
Right.
Unfair, man. It just hurts.
It can never be just one or the other. They can't just compliment you.
Yeah,
You
it's,
look like a pedophile. Like, oh, thanks, guy.
yeah, right. It's like, oh, or it's like, oh, you looks like you can pound my brains out. And I'm like, you
It's
trying to
one or
find
the
out,
other?
baby?
Prove it. Prove it.
No, I've
Like, let's go to the bathroom.
yeah,
Let's go to my van.
Yeah, you do drive a minivan, which makes it even better.
yeah, oh yeah.
I'm sure that bitch is tinted too.
I got
gotta
rid
be.
of my vehicles to basically
Wait, so that's your
Put-
only vehicle?
my only vehicle now. Yeah, I full committed into my business.
The man van. Hell
The man, minivan.
That's
I dig
awesome.
it. That's
Oh, yeah.
commitment.
Yeah, man. I
That's
love
awesome.
it. I love. You know what? I love it, man. I got room. It does well in the snow.
Exactly.
I can take it for a camping trip.
Well, that's
I'm cool.
beautiful.
Yeah. That honestly, yeah.
Why not?
When I was in high school, one of my first cars was a minivan, the Traverse or something. What's it
The
called?
Traverse.
No, the TriStar or something like that. Or
What brand? Or,
trying to
Take your word for it.
Yeah, well, I believe
it
you.
was- I would have to send it to you,
I'm
but
not
it's like
gonna look
something
into
about
it.
TV.
One of them Mexican looking vans where they used to have the TV in the
an
back.
Astro?
It has like
No.
3 rows.
I learned to drive in a minivan, and it was not fun. It was not a fun drive at the age of 18 in the winter of
Bro,
Wisconsin.
you learned to drive at 18?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh.
I got my license
I-
at 18.
All right. I don't mean to interject, but since we're talking about driving vans,
Minivan specifically.
I know, and I went like for like a joyride, just like 2 miles out. Came back and I got scared, and there was almost an accident. It was scary. Would not recommend.
Juan, you remember at a time in high school where I had that van with the couches in the back? I took out the seats.
yeah,
We went to Hooters.
This motherfucker,
Yeah.
bro. So like,
Okay, yeah.
this we had this tradition because like we had a friend group like a few years in high school, and I would hit this guy up because he was in a different school, but like he knew a few of us, so like we just fit in well. And we'd be like, yo, come pick us up, like
I had the van.
because
The
he
man
was a
van?
connect, bro.
Yeah, dude.
He was a connect, but he had wasn't it 2 sofas?
Yeah.
He
I
had
took
2.
out the seats in the back.
He took out the
Completely
seats
illegal.
and put like fucking
Illegal.
just a regular couch in the
Furniture.
van.
Furniture.
Furniture.
It's a straight pimping, dude.
2 rows of that. He put 2 rows of that shit, dude.
How did it fit?
17-year-old boys.
It just did.
It was a Windsor. It was a piece of shit van. Big and fat.
Dude, Alo's
You remember it?
to this day, Alo still Alo's mom, my fiance's mom, still remembers after one of those Hooters trips, like because it was unlimited wings, all you can eat for
Yeah.
like $10. So we
Pounded.
literally showed up every other Monday, essentially. Like
Pounding wings.
those like poor girls were so annoyed of us because like they were like, oh, here come these cheap asses again.
Water. Water's
Yeah.
just fine. I don't need anything else.
Showed up every other Monday, essentially. Like
Pounding wings.
those like poor girls were so annoyed of us because like they were like, oh, here come these cheap asses again.
Water's
Yeah.
just fine. I don't need anything else.
And they were like, "Oh, unlimited," looking at us. Point is, after one of those trips and being on this guy's van, dude, this was like before me and Alo were like still like officially a thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just like, "Yo, put on this like Mexican ass song." For anybody who wants to look it up, it's called "De Rodillas Te Pido," and
It's a good song.
exactly. And dude, I'm over here. I have like zero experience with Mexican music, zero.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, oh, dude, you know what? That one's a head bopper. Let's just go play that shit. And like I'm gonna stand outside like that one '80s movie holding.
Say anything. With
Yeah,
John Cusack?
exactly. So that was what was going on in my head. So like my boys are like hyping me up, dude. Like they're hyping me up. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
We're belly full of wings.
Exactly. We do it. We get the cops called on her. Yeah, like
the cops showed up.
We did our thing for like all of like 30 seconds. We bounced cause I like called her and told her to come outside. She saw it, like effect there. I got what I was going for.
Yeah.
We leave, and then I find out that we got the cops called into the neighborhood by some neighbors because they said, "Oh, hey, there's like some people like playing like really loud music outside. I don't know if it's like gangbangers or something like that." Yeah. The point is, the neighbors had called, and then they stopped at Alo's house, and they asked her mom, and she covered for me.
Oh, hell
Yeah, she covered for me, and it was like then that I kind of knew. You know what? They're pretty cool.
The family's cool.
Yeah.
Damn, I had a much different incident in my parents' minivan. I fucking destroyed that thing.
Oh, no.
I ran that thing into a semi.
Oh.
Damn.
Are you
Yeah.
wrecked
Kidding,
it?
dude?
Damn.
Yeah. No,
How
I'm
did
not
that
kidding at all.
happen?
This was when I was 14, and I woke up late to track practice. I was like, fuck, I can't be late. And I'm not going to run there because I have to run for fucking practice. And I think I was late the day before because, like, practice is like 7 in the morning. And I live close enough that I could walk there. But I just woke up late enough that I'm like, dude, I'm not going to make it on time. And, like, you know how, like, the track coaches are this, like, at least at my high school, it was the same football coaches. And they're super hard ass on you, right?
Yeah.
And, like, if you show up late, they're going to make you run. And they're just going to be assholes about it. So I'm like, fuck. And I had some experience driving at the age of 14 of, like, moving it back and, like, parking it and stuff like that. So I'm like, fuck.
Turning it on for the winter.
Yes.
That counts,
Little stuff like that.
That adds like a year of experience.
Oh, yeah, that's Mr. Miyagi's.
And
Yeah.
the high school is so close to where I used to live that I'm like, dude, I'm like, fuck it. I took my dad's minivan. I took it there. And I got there just fine. People were like, how'd you get here? Like, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. So then on my way home, I was taking a right turn onto a 2-lane traffic. That was 45 miles per hour. Then on my way home, I was taking a right turn onto a 2-lane traffic. That was 45 miles per hour. And instead of when you take a right, you immediately go into the first lane on the right. Like you don't immediately merge on the left. But that's what I did. As I was taking a right turn, I was trying to take a right turn into the left lane without seeing what was coming. And a semi hit driver's side and completely obliterated the minivan.
You were okay though?
Yeah.
No, I died.
This is
Well, you got Tracy Morgan.
the purgatory version of Luis Pablo we're getting.
Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, is this real? Did I really die on that day? No, yeah, I was completely fine apart from a few like scratches. But dude, like it broke everything on the left hand side of the vehicle.
Luis, this is just a long drawn out DMT
Impact.
trip of what would have been with your life.
Yeah, you're actually flashing through your life.
Yeah.
You're still in the van.
Yeah, exactly. I never
Oh,
made it out. I never woke up from that day.
Like, dude, just take the red pill already. You'll
just
wake
wake
up.
up. Just
wake up.
No, dude, it fucked me up. That's why I didn't drive till I was 18 because my parents were like, "You're not fucking learning to drive, buddy."
I was wondering
That
like
makes
why that
sense.
was.
Yeah, they pushed it off, and they're like, "Nah, we're not trusting."
I would have
you."
thought your rebellious ass would have like tried to push for it the moment you could.
No, and obviously I tried.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a late behind because I was grounded. So I got my license at like what 17, right?
Yeah.
Is when-
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not that late.
No, that's not
No,
late.
it was like
If
it was
that,
yeah, it was like 17 and a
Yeah.
half. Yeah. I was grounded though.
What happened?
I honestly don't remember. I think it was
But you were grounded.
yeah, I was grounded a lot in high school.
Were you a troublemaker?
What were like the main reasons that you
Were you
felt
like a
like you got
class
grounded
clown?
for?
No, man, I wasn't a troublemaker. For one, Bigfoot in Walworth, it's a small school in a small town.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
so like any little thing you did, everybody knew your shit, you know. And
And you can attain a quick reputation because of it being such a
Of the
small school.
negative, yes, yeah. And so, like, don't get me wrong. I was an athlete. I was in track, cross country. I did football, whatever. You know,
Clapping cheeks left and right.
clapping. No, actually, no. I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
Yeah, 18.
We'll get
bro.
into it.
Especially in
We'll get
small
into
towns
it.
like that, you know, word travels too fast.
Yeah, man. I mean, it happens, you know. And it's not like I was a little shit, dude. I was just doing normal teenager stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Getting your hands on a bottle of booze or whatever on Captain Morgan or smoking a joint with a couple buddies. Like, it's not like I was
Yeah, it's like,
Doing
Mom, this
Grand-
is normal. Chill
right.
out.
It's not like I'm Grand Theft Auto or stealing from gas stations or
Exactly.
something like that. Like
Yeah.
I BMX'd, so I rode my bike all the time. Like, so I was looked at as like the skater punk,
Okay.
you know.
Out there breaking curfew and shit.
Right,
Like that.
which-
Yeah, this is rural Wisconsin. You got to be careful with
I
that.
know,
you
man.
know?
They claim me as a big fish, bro.
You might end up on a list if you keep being too much of a skater.
Yeah, bro. Shredding the gnar.
A little
you
bit of Antifa in you with that skateboard.
When was the first time you fully like committed to the booze?
Fully committed to the
Yeah,
booze.
when you're like, fuck it, tonight I get drunk. Was that in high school?
Oh
was
yeah, that was in high school. Yeah, we had a buddy. He had a basement, and we basically partied there every single weekend. He had a full-on basement with like an island. He had a full-on kitchen in the basement, and then
Yeah.
like and it wasn't like it was on a farmhouse. It wasn't like a rich preppy house. It was on farmland, you know. And in the basement, he had this giant long island. And we would play beer pong. We wouldn't even like drink or anything. We would just casually play beer pong and became like champs at it. It was a lot of fun.
So you were good at beer pong without actually drinking.
Yeah.
Getting ready
We'd
for,
mostly be smoking.
He was
for the
training.
big league.
Yeah, we were smoking more than anything.
Yeah.
Because booze is hard to come by, you know.
It's a recipe for a
Yeah,
good
isn't
time.
that crazy?
Farmland.
Like
couple
at that
bowls.
age, you find it. The same thing. Like it's harder to find booze than it is to find weed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
so right.
Like
Or
I had to,
Adderall?
yeah,
Dude.
I had to ask somebody who I worked with was like if they could please buy me alcohol and then pay them $20 on top of already paying for the alcohol.
on top of the normal price.
Yeah,
It was almost like a finder's fee.
yeah. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll buy you alcohol for fucking $20," and I'm like, "Well, how much is the liquor?" He's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Bombay Sapphire and like a 30-pack." He's like, "That's
Bro,
like,
tell me
my
why
boy.
Bombay Sapphire was like it was like almost like a starter Pokemon.
it's because of Wiz Khalifa."
Wiz
That-
Khalifa.
That motherfucker might as well have been like Charizard. Like,
Bro, Wiz-
Straight up.
That or UV vodka.
yeah.
yeah,
These would be it. Skull, UV, and Bombay Sapphire. That would be your 3 starter Pokemon.
I never had
Pick
Skull
one.
to this
No,
day.
no. Smirnoff. We went, fuck Skull. We went to Smirnoff.
See, I went to Skull because I would buy that shit, put it in a Grey Goose bottle after I Brita filtered that shit.
What the hell is
I would literally show up to like parties with the boys with a bottle of Grey Goose that has been Brita filtered, and we would look like fucking baddies, bro.
Grey Goose is good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
and,
think
and
Grey
you
Goose?
think it's Grey Goose when it comes out the Grey Goose bottle, but it's not.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That shit is. I've never done that. I've never put liquor into another bottle to.
Well,
Like,
okay, first of all, I've never put liquor in a Brita filter.
That's
And
where you're
then
missing
into-
out, homie. That's where you're missing out.
Well, you put.
What do you filter in?
Yeah, what are you cleaning? I'm
minerals?
confused.
I'm okay with a cheap vodka. The reason why it's cheap is because it's been filtered fewer times. For example, like Smirnoff famously says, like filtered 6 times right on the front. Like
Tito's, you mean?
I think it's Smirnoff.
Tito's also has like a bin filtered this many times on it.
Okay, well
Sure they all
Smirnoff.
do.
I know because Smirnoff says charcoal filtered like X amount of times,
Oh, okay.
and like that's the same thing in a Brita filter. So like we and I had run into it on a Reddit forum. Like if you do this, like it'll improve the quality of your vodka.
In between your porn sessions.
Exactly. Thank you.
God bless Reddit for that though.
Yeah, God bless. For real. Hey, hey, you fucking stupid libtards. Stop trying to fucking cancel everything that's good for the earth. Sometimes the exploitation of certain people's sexuality is a good thing. All right? I'm just saying.
Is this specifically directed
Well, unless
at anything or
there's
anyone?
got to be a certain age where they could be exploited sexually. Then-
Yeah,
then
I feel like 10
Yeah, that
years-
goes without
10 years
saying, you
old is a little
weirdo. You
young.
fucking pedo weirdo.
There's an open, vague statement.
See,
you said
that's
right
the
there.
issue, though. Is like we kids nowadays are open to so much. They're able to be getting their hands on whatever they want. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
true.
Have you been watching Euphoria?
No, I've heard good things about it.
Season two.
It's a good show about high schoolers, but it's like more than just it has more to do with like drug addiction and how people around them act that way. But then it is ultimately a show about these kids in high school, and the entire show is like super sexual, and I'm like, who's the demographic?
Yeah, I can't watch shit like that. It makes me uncomfortable.
That's
Like how am I
American
supposed to
TV.
like? Yeah, how are you supposed to watch high school kids being all sexual with each other? Like
Obviously,
what are you what?
So
Like,
all the
maybe if you're under 18 or some shit.
all the actors and actresses are over the age of 18, including one who's like super popular. She's like 31, and she's playing a high schooler. So it's like,
What, the blonde chick?
no, she's the one with dark hair.
Zendaya.
Maddie is her name in the show.
Oh, Maddie, she's 30?
She's 31.
No way.
Yeah,
The
and it's
Mexican
like,
chick? The crazy
yeah,
one?
exactly.
What the hell?
So we actually posted up
Dude,
a
that's
video.
some accurate casting right there.
So she would put up a video of who we'd be as Euphoria characters, which I think is pretty. I mean, Phil, you got to admit it's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah.
I wouldn't say you're toxic. Come on, man.
I think I'm pretty Maddie-ish.
Come on, you got to build yourself up.
I mean, who else in the show would I be? I don't think.
We can both be Zendayas.
Hey, I like that. I like
Come
that.
on, man.
But point is, the show's very like over sexualized. And back to Joe's point, it is very interesting to think like, you know, we grew up when the internet was first getting started, but we still had to kind of scavenge the earth for, you know, things that we were interested in, you know, as we were hitting maturity of like, you know, sexy girls and, you know, sexy girls in bikinis. But now it's like kids.
Rule 34.
Yeah, Rule 34. Power Rangers, Rule 34. But now kids are growing up with like free and unlimited porn. Like, it, you know, it's obviously it's going to be affecting their brain nonetheless, but it's also, I think part of it might be good for them to like explore that early on without, you know, having that like niche aspect to it of like, no, this is a normal thing. But it's also like, well, it's got to go through public education and they got to go through public schooling. And it's also how it's in their family and how their family reacts to like sex. Because I never talked about sex growing up to my parents. They were like, my talk was my dad seeing me hug a girl at Walmart and being like, hey, you respect women. And that was it.
I saw your hand drift.
What more do you need?
Exactly.
I do got to say, I don't think porn can be categorized as quote unquote normal when it comes to what sex really is. And that's where the danger is for these young kids. And not only that,
That's true. Very true.
their brains are still developing. So when
Yeah.
they are exposed to something like that, they're going to get addicted instantly.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's a
mean?
quick
Yeah.
dopamine
It's
release.
a quick dopamine release. And then, so now on top of that, you're dealing with a underdeveloped child that is,
They don't have the inhibition control.
they don't
to
understand
control themselves and stop
self-discipline, you know,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Their brain is
Because they're
quite
kids.
literally not
They're
at the
kids,
same
right.
level. It we were saying earlier, it's like smoking around a kid. You know, like that's harmful to them, but like we don't know as a society yet. And like I think that similar thing is gonna happen
Right.
with them.
Yeah.
Like social media, porn, like video game and internet addiction. I think in a few years it is gonna be seen as like, yo, what the fuck were we thinking? Just like
Yeah.
giving
Unlimited.
the most advanced piece of like computer engineering to this kid and hoping that, you know, he can control himself and stop whenever he wants to,
Right.
rather than whenever this thing is done hijacking his attention. And like that's why you see like I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, but it's also kind of serious at the same time. But like reactions on different social media, whether that be YouTube or TikTok, of like kids who are overreacting to their moms because they cut them off from video games. My God, bro, you might as well be seeing like a heroin addict in rehab, bro. Like it's the same thing. They're just like sitting there like screaming like, oh, I need it, like give it back.
Because that is their heroin.
Yeah.
Like, that is their quick dopamine release of like, you get XP after every match, and so like that's what keeps you going, and that XP makes you,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
The
like
gamification.
makes it easier to get that
Yeah.
next skin. But and I also had, you know, this is really interesting. I had a therapist tell me like, porn is like sugar. Like, would you have sugar every single day? Like, no. Would you like limit it and, you know, in a controlled substance and
Moderate.
in moderation and like once every now and then, like, but it's not normal to have that every single day. And like, you know, I think Joe said it very well. Like these young kids who think that that's normal. Like, do you think fucking grabbing a girl by the throat and spitting in her mouth is normal?
Exactly. Yeah. That's not what love
Yeah, I had
is.
That's
to
not
learn that the
realist.
hard way.
Yeah.
What a break. Hey, amen, brother. Amen.
Amen.
Doing the dirty work.
Steps.
Another thing though too about. Sorry, we're on the porn topic. It's a big topic.
It is a
Well,
very
it
big
is,
topic.
though.
When young kids are exposed to this porn, like I was saying, they actually can produce. I don't want to say erectile dysfunction, but they don't know their view on what gets them going.
Yeah.
Their level
It's
of
very
perversion.
elevated.
It's very elevated compared
It's like
to
a very high stimulus, like stimuli that they
Yeah.
count on. Like
Right.
once they get used to like that porn freaky shit,
Yeah.
like them
Norm-
losing their virginity is gonna be seen as very tame to them. You know,
Yeah.
like
Right.
that normal, like very normal positions, like they're gonna see that as very tame compared to like that freaky shit, like the dwarf gangbang like shit that they were looking at.
Yeah.
You know, like
Damn, I don't know what's on your algorithm, bro.
I'm sorry, we hang out on different parts of the
Yeah,
internet.
the bukkake.
Well, I mean, but for real though,
I'm telling you, man, you got to get on Reddit.
it's these underdeveloped kids with these overdeveloped tastes in porn that like they should not be that young and like looking up at
Yeah.
bukkakis or like soaking party. Like
You know,
Yeah,
it
you're
took
right,
it took me a long while though to kind of break that grasp of porn addiction. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, as a young male, there's no way of avoiding addiction.
There's
when it
also
comes to
no
that.
one telling you like, hey, stop looking up those fucking people.
Right.
And we were literally the first generation to grow
Yeah.
up with that shit. Like,
Really.
I mean, just think about
No,
it.
like,
What
our-
about like Playboy magazines though? I mean,
No,
that's not
I
the
meant like
same, it's not the
easily
same.
accessed.
Yeah.
Like you literally just look at your supercomputer in your pocket and you
Right.
can bring it up if you
and
want
you
to.
can look up a million different
Especially
things that are
now.
back to
Yeah.
back to back to back to back. Whereas like a porn magazine, it's
You
only
you
got
have
so
to go
many
out of your
pages.
way and like
You're
get
right.
that shit from like
get the issue.
Yeah,
exactly like how can I help you? And
yeah.
yes, may I have one Maxim, please?
can I get hustlers,
Can,
please?
can you give me the anal gangbang 7?
Moving on.
And speaking of,
Porn's bad. Moderation, like in everything.
Yeah, guys.
Exactly.
yeah,
Moderation.
treat it like sugar. Would you have sugar every day? No. Would
No.
you have a Reese's peanut butter cup at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep? Maybe. Ultimately,
Yo, okay.
Moving on.
Since we're talking about this subject, then, what do you guys think about the fact that like China has been
Good.
moderating,
Good.
essentially, kind of like coding into law like some of like the rules we've been talking about, like specifically as it pertains to TikTok and video games. Their version of TikTok is the algorithm has been by law codified to push achievements, educational, I guess, content, and it stops at 10 p.m. and it doesn't shut or turn back on until 6 a.m. So like to keep like essentially anybody from staying up way too late, and especially kids. And so like, what do you guys think about that?
I think a lot of that, although it sounds like a good concept, I think it, it is that for children only, or is
I'm
that
not
for
I'm not
everyone?
sure if it's for children only.
I believe.
I know the video game rule is like that quite literally you can only play like an hour of video games a week.
Yeah. No, they have timers and
Yeah,
stuff
they-
on it now.
yeah.
I actually, I know what you're talking about.
Their algorithm is designed to
It
show
is.
more progressive.
Yeah, which is fine.
More
You
like
know,
achievement and
I get it.
like engineering and
Yeah.
space travel and things like that versus oh, here's a funny guy or here's a cute girl. Like
I
look
think
at this.
a lot of that has to be up to like the families and like the way you're raising your kids, because like I know how crippling, like, dude, you put me in front of a video game, like no matter what video game it is, I'm gonna find the best way to get the quickest result, and then just like get that quick dopamine release. Like I do have a very bad problem when it comes to video games.
Yeah.
And like once I get hooked, I'm like, give me more of that. And so like I know going forward, I think it has to be like the family to like take them away from it and be like, no, like, you're only gonna get an hour a day, like,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like otherwise, like read a fucking book, like expand your mind.
Well, and if the family can't do it, then the government has to.
And I think that's where we're at, because I mean it's everywhere. I mean, you go to restaurants and you look and you
The
see a
iPad
mother
babies.
and a
Oh,
child
yeah.
sitting there and the
like
both on their
yeah.
phones, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes
heartbreaking.
you'll go like out to dinner, like he said. You'll see a family, quite literally, like 5 out of 5 are on their phones.
I can
Yeah.
attest for this. I have a
Yeah.
4-year-old brother, you know. My mom, she gets home from work and she's go all day, gets home, does her things at home, and she has no energy to argue with a 4-year-old
Yeah.
toddler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just,
It's almost like a digital babysitter, you know, like a
Basically,
digital
yeah.
pacifier.
and then he's glued. You know, he's
Yeah.
glued on.
Yeah,
it.
because it's got that quick dopamine release
Yeah.
and like quick, back to back.
I think. What was it? China that they're doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's honestly, I think it's a decent idea. I think it's a good, it's a good steer in the right direction. To be honest with you, I
Yeah.
know it's very it's kind of invading with your freedom when it comes to it, but also people are abusing it. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it shows.
There are
in-
adults that have this problem.
Exactly,
I've been-
showing efficiency, showing their problems at work, and then not work isn't getting done because whatever distractions. And,
Oh yeah.
And even like beyond work, like what he's saying, like it's almost like cigarette companies giving out cigarettes for free as children,
Yeah.
and then they get addicted, and then we count on them to kick their addiction as adults, or like lift their bootstraps out of their addiction.
Or
you
we
know,
punish them for being addicted
Yeah.
when all we gave them was the option to get addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we incentivize them to get addicted,
Yeah.
like first, and then we want them to kick the addiction.
Yeah.
So like, I do think that like the fact that these products are quite literally designed by the smartest people that we produce as a society to like the smartest people we produce as a society go into big tech, into like programming, computer science. Like that's where they're pushed because that's where the money is, right?
Yeah.
And they are incentivized, like each company or each app is incentivized to keep you on that app as long as possible. They are literally trying to hijack your attention as much as possible. They hire psychologists, like people like that, people who, like in the casino industry that know like which sounds and colors like set off the most of like the correct chemicals in your brain to keep you coming back. And like then we still have like the philosophy of like, well, we should like count on people to just lift themselves out of
We're gonna
that.
add a screen time feature, and like people are just gonna ignore that.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, no, 15
Like,
more
no,
minutes.
I'm good.
Swipe.
I'm good.
Yeah, like well, we're good. Yeah, no, I think that's a very good point of like you are just presenting the addiction and not an actual.
You're setting people up to fail, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what our society has kind of always been based on, was being set up to fail. To be honest, I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but
Go off, brother. Go
you know,
off.
it's
Hell yeah.
it's unfortunate, and honestly, China taking that small little step that is pretty big.
I think it's
Yes,
props to them.
a step like that could have huge ramifications.
Props
Like,
to them, to be honest.
Imagine if any of us in here in the room had some little like crazy older brother like technology hanging over our shoulder that literally only lets you play video games 1 hour of your life or 1 hour
Yeah.
every week of your life.
Like, well, fuck, I gotta do something else.
Like Jesus Christ, like
It's what Luis was said in the beginning of the podcast. Easy times make weak men. Strong
Yeah.
times make so and so, and
yeah.
tough times make hard men. Well, surveillance state makes a well-composed person.
yeah, God,
You're
damn.
always on your best manner. If you're
Aren't they
constantly being
efficient?
watched.
That country is the most efficient. I mean, think about where COVID, quote unquote, originated, which was in the city of
Wuhan.
Xinjiang.
I thought it was Wuhan.
Wuhan.
Yeah,
it
you're
was
right.
Wuhan.
The Wuhan
And like within 2
virology
weeks,
lab.
they had completely like flipped the city around and had created a hospital in place, and like
Yeah, dude, you saw
right.
those news stories about how they put up a hospital in 3 days,
yeah, and
Like-
you see it time lapse, like they just construct the hospital from
like
like
overnight.
the bottom up, and just like it's because they're fucking efficient because they don't have any other choice but to be efficient.
Yeah. The president of China just came out because we're talking about China right now. They're very very strong men minded because a lot of these the military for Chinese has gone so down because a lot of guys are just at home getting pudgy, jerking off essentially, right, and becoming more flamboyant, and they're expressly trying to get that out of their society. Like you have to be a man. You can't
Dude,
wear
there-
eyeliner and stuff.
There's
like
this
that.
movement in China. It's called like the sit movement, I believe. Like I know it's a weird name, or the sit out, where like all these young people in their society are quite literally just existing, like going day to day, eating food that like helps them exist day to day, but they have zero long-term plans, and they're just gonna like meander through society, and what they say the reason that they're doing it is is because in China, they quite literally count on you to work like 10 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Oh, it's insane.
And they're like, fuck that. Like, we're just like here like indentured servants because the economy isn't serving wherever they are in society. So it's just like a bunch of young people that like saw that as a system, and they were like, yeah, fuck that. Like, we're just gonna like stay at home and play video games, stay at home and eat like cheap food, like just shit like that. And it's almost like their version of the anti-work Reddit, you know, like yeah, but like almost like on an extreme level because. But and as he said, they also have an authoritarian government that's trying to stamp that out. So who knows how long that'll last?
They have pretty cool nets around their buildings. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the anti-suicide nets?
catchers.
I'm sure there's some on Foxconn too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if we.
I saw it
implemented
at John
Foxconn.
Deere Con. They called it cow catchers.
I mean,
Well, that's the next step for America though, because we're already trying to get the age for like minors to work in like fast food. So
Yeah.
let's not stop there. Let's go to the factories. Let's go to truck drivers. Let's build nets. You know,
Yeah.
Let's, for the older people.
that is the next step. If we, that's the thing that I quite literally don't understand is we're trying to compete with a fucking nation that is willing to do anything in order to be number one.
They live in tubes stacked on top of each other.
Hell yeah.
With you can only have what, one child, two?
They have changed the law to
They
I think
changed the
down
law.
you
Yeah.
get two.
So
But
they're not
you
throwing
were right,
babies
though.
over the mountains.
The
or
fact
whatever
that that was
Yeah,
the
but-
law for the longest time is
There-
Exactly.
the daughter or the
still a point
having-
to be taken.
Having twins,
Took
you know,
4
whatever.
decades.
There's
Yeah.
once like one bedroom apartments that are as big as this room,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and they consider themselves lucky because they're in the city.
And this one room would fit like 10 to 12 people.
Dude, they would just stack them on like bunk beds from like floor to ceiling, and that's how they would live.
But that's life.
Yeah,
Mind you guys, this is a 9x12.
yeah. This is not a big
9
room
by
at all.
13.
Oh shit! You know what? You're a painter. You can tell by room specs. So
Yeah.
how would you fix the Chinese population problem
The Chinese population problem
As a painter,
as a painter?
as a painter.
Yeah.
Because China has they're notorious for building these ghost cities. They spend so much money of like investment money into these cities that are supposed to maintain high populations that never get used.
Dude, those are just like their version of Wall Street scams, though. That's not necessarily like.
they've also pumped a bunch of money into their Chinese Super League, which is their soccer league, and it became tax write-offs for billionaires. So you would have all these like specifically Brazilian players moving over to the Chinese Super League. And the reason was like each team was only allowed to have like 2 international players because then like China wouldn't have as many players from the Chinese like area.
Domestically.
Yeah, exactly. And then they ended up cutting that off. And so now all these like
You can
billion-
have as many international
no,
players.
they
as
just
well.
like cut it off entirely. So they
All
had
in-
salary caps
Oh, okay.
and then like implemented like actual like what's it called? Fair play, financial fair play, so they could only spend as much as they're making. So
Dude,
they had to
I think
cut that
salary
all
caps
out.
are really good for sports in general.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Like, in-
agree 100%.
In my opinion, it really helps like teams stay competitive on like a wide scale rather than having like 3 or 4 super teams that are just like changing the championship. Oh, you had a good team this year. You had a good
Yeah.
team that year. Like it really, if there wasn't a salary cap, like a team like the Packers would never exist. Like it's quite literally the smallest like where it comes from the smallest city in the country as far as Green Bay. How are you gonna put like a team like Green Bay up to like Arizona, Chicago, New York?
Yeah.
Like
Miami.
it's never gonna be able to put up those resources. So like the fact that a salary cap exists, you know, like that helps, you know, those small town teams be competitive. Or
Yeah.
just have like a competitive league in general.
One thing go ahead, Phil.
Joe, is there something like that in the painters? Like, is it competitive per se? You know what I mean? Like,
Painting?
yeah, because like I've been watching The Sopranos a lot
Okay.
recently, and there's a lot of
That ties in.
a lot of shady
Yeah.
business with contractors and like trying to get the bid. Like, oh yeah, I know the bid for this.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know people here and there. So is there something like a higher, like a good, like
Those-
damn this commercial lot needs this painted, or like different painters trying to get their name in, kind of a word of mouth.
There-
Trying to get their name in, kind of a word of mouth.
There's a lot of pettiness.
Oh.
Just like any other corporation business
Yeah.
that you go into, there's always going to be the the petty. Somebody comes in, bids a home, and it's like, oh, starts ripping on the last paint job guy. It's like, come on now, like,
Yeah, whoever did this didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Sure, they did a crappy job or whatever, but you still don't want to be that negative to your customer. You know, I mean, like, point it out, make a statement, don't rip on them. You know, be respectful about it. But yeah, there's some pettiness. You know, I mean, and there's a lot of moving components when it comes to building a house and making it. There's a lot of people in, there's a lot of people out. It's.
Could you go into further detail about the pettiness? Because now I'm interested.
So, like, are other companies like purposely trying to like talk shit about each other? Like,
So, all right,
I wouldn't hire this guy.
for example, right, let's just say there's a new construction build, right? New house, just put up. Drywall, everything's all done and ready to be painted. Okay. You have 3 guys come in. You have 3 separate painting companies come in.
Let's use Luis, Phil, and Juan for these 3 companies.
Okay, so Luis comes in. He bids it high, right? So let's just say it's a $10,000 job. He bids it at $15,000, right? Okay. Phil comes in. He's the medium guy, but he's a trustworthy guy. He's got a good reputation. He comes in. He gives you a decent offer. It's in the medium. It's not 15. It's not 10. Let's just say 12,000. Right, and then Juan comes in, and he's newer, but he lowballed himself, so he gives, you know, it's just like it really just depends. I mean, some people talk shit, some people don't.
So kind of an experience thing. You can essentially screw yourself in the long run.
Yeah, I've screwed myself out of a couple jobs just from the lack of experience that I you know, walking into a job with, you know, the confidence of shaking a stranger's hand and making yourself look good and feel good, and then all of a sudden they bring this issue, and you're like, I don't know, I haven't done this yet. You know, it's like, so there.
Let me check with my manager. Bro.
Yeah, right. Basically, it's like, let me call somebody. But
I thought you were the manager.
I thought you were the owner.
Right.
Let me call my dad real quick.
Yeah,
Let me call my business partner.
I'm just a boy.
Because you are a very young fella. You are, you know, at the ripe age of 32.
32. I wish. No,
that's
I don't
what your
wish.
stash says.
I just turned 25 January 13th, and I had a midlife crisis.
What, did you start watching a bunch of Disney movies?
No, man.
Because that happened to me when I had a midlife crisis.
I've been watching Disney, bro.
Shit. But what happened with your crisis, if you don't mind me asking?
No, you know, I just when you're a senior in high school, you're like, oh, when I'm 25, I have kids, a job, nice house, car, 3.14 kids, the fucking the white picket fence,
a few $100,000 in the bank.
Yeah, a few hundred.
Right, a few hundred, keep a couple stacks, you know.
A garage, couple.
Here I
tools.
am, just moved back home with my mom.
Couldn't be happier.
You wipe
no
your nose with some
girlfriend.
Benjis.
I got a puppy. I got a
puppy?
dog.
Hey, what kind of puppy?
I got a husky, a Siberian
up.
husky.
Oh, hell yeah.
What's up? You
Couldn't
hear that,
be
girls?
happier.
You hear that?
You hear that?
Hey, what's your Tinder link? Tell him.
We'll put that in the
Does that
description.
work?
Is that a thing?
Tinder?
No, I know Tinder's a thing. Is a Tinder link? Like,
I figure you just say your fucking username.
I actually deleted my my dating apps the other day.
You hear that,
Oh,
ladies?
yeah.
He's clean. No STDs.
I don't want that.
Even Christian Mingle?
I kept farmers.
Are you on Farmers
Right.
Only?
Okay.
Yeah, good.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Hey,
There we go.
hey,
Come on.
that's where the wholesome blue collar,
I'll be
real
Lunch
gym
pail.
rat,
I'd
lunch
be
pail.
walking up to the farmer house and be like, "Well, you here to work?" I'm like, "No, I'm picking up your daughter."
you're here to work, boy.
Are you sure? Because
Like, go get me Kelsey, Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, thank God you arrived. We need you in the backyard quick.
Just start doing work out of custom.
so yeah, basically, being a young business owner is really tough because you have to prove yourself.
A lot of scrutiny that you're gonna be looked at.
Yeah. I've had a lot. Well, another thing too. My partner, he's 60, right around that age. So he's the guy that they normally go to when really it's me trying to be the head of the operation, the job, you know. And it's hard because I don't want to say I'm overlooked, but I'm young.
Yeah.
Right? You know? And of course they're going to talk to him, and I'm happy they talk to him because I can learn from him, and I do, but you know, it's difficult to
Navigate.
to be confident, with
Right.
that,
When
too.
you're like, damn, they should just go to him then.
right,
Well,
right,
Especially since like I mentioned in the beginning, like your job market, it's just like especially you just started out and working on these in these past 2 years, right?
Yep.
Working on these mansions and these like houses that would take me 3 lifetimes to even get close to a down payment on. Like, holy
Right.
shit.
Yeah, I actually worked on Tito Beverage. I did some work in
Damn.
his house.
Damn.
He
Yeah.
has a house on the lake here.
Yeah, yep. Over in
Tito,
Fontana.
Wrigley, the gum company or the
Mhm.
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
owner?
I met Mr. Tito.
Yeah, I didn't
Really?
meet him. I met his
Yeah.
wife Lori.
It was
Really nice.
They're very nice.
Very nice.
They're very Texan.
You know, yeah, they're very. Well, yeah, they got houses. up
They
in
got a
Texas.
little Matthew McConaughey in there.
The you'd be surprised though. The house isn't as flashy as you think it would be. It's very humble. It's humbling.
And
to
we're talking
walk
about
in there.
Tito's from Tito's Vodka, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about Tito's handmade
Tito's
vodka.
beverage.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
his last name's Beverage, which is funny. Did you know that?
I did not
Dead
know that.
ass?
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Damn.
Are you serious?
BEV Ridge, RIDGE, Beverage.
There we
Oh, that's
go.
interesting.
God.
I took care of him, his
so
wife,
extra.
his best friend, and his wife.
That's old money stuff right there.
It was weird.
Yeah. No, that's. I guess it's his
Super
last name.
humble, super like
Yeah.
nice guy.
Super nice. My mom met him. Said he's a cool dude.
I would gladly. I only drink Tito's vodka. I only drink Tito's vodka beforehand, but now I only drink
Tito's good,
just because
man.
from like meeting him.
Oh, okay.
Dude, check this out. My dad worked on one of those properties, or works as like a groundskeeper, on one of those properties in Lake Geneva. Quite literally a mansion, just like the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
Whether that be the Wrigley Mansion, Tito's. Like this mansion has like a White House looking building right on the edge of the lake, like 100 feet in front of it. It has hedges and bushes and trees that are kept by groundskeepers. It has 3 houses, like the main house and 2 guest houses. Like, yeah, 2 guest houses. One of the guest houses houses his mom and like his daughter, but like the owner of the whole property is this gentleman called Gordon, I believe, who just owns like all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I guess like there's been a few times where people will like hop off of a boat to like get picked up on like an Uber or something, and they somehow think that they can walk to like the road, and this dude will come out of nowhere. Like he'll be busy at work or something, but he'll like notice anybody who stops like at his property. And yeah, like I said, like there'll be people who are on the lake who'll get off on his pier and like try to catch an Uber that's quite literally almost like half a mile like down his private driveway, like up the road into a public road. And he has caught like 3 or 4 people like that, and almost every single time calls the cops on them.
Good.
He is just like super
Fuck 'em.
like aggressive
Yeah.
about it every time he sees them.
Especially in Lake Geneva, man. I mean, people are so entitled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and you know, I'm not ripping on our neighboring state here, but Illinois guys, man. I mean, it's a vacation place for them, so of
Yeah.
course they're not going to treat it with respect like they would their hometown, right?
Exactly.
And
That's a
it's
good point.
The sense of entitlement, and then
Drive 80 miles away and you can be an asshole.
Exactly.
However,
Yeah.
do 200.
So,
Yeah,
something like that.
Phil, I really want to applaud you on this question that I want to ask the room. You asked a question that
Paper or plastic? Boxer or briefs? Which one?
you
Paper.
know what? I wear briefs. I've specifically worn meat undies for the last
Oh,
7 years.
top tier briefs.
I've only been wearing me undies for the last 7 years.
Cheers to that.
been
that
that
deserves
long.
Cheers.
I commando.
You commando?
No, I'm just kidding.
Do you?
There's this. No, I actually never done that, and I'm afraid because of the zipper.
I'm with you. That shit looks like it's gonna catch something.
I ain't
yeah.
getting tangled in that shit. Anyway,
Some skin. Get some skin down there. Whoa.
there's this brand at Target. It's called Pair of Thieves.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Softest
They're
underwear,
pretty
bro.
good.
I got them on right now, man.
Damn.
Don't even feel them.
Pair of Thieves
Target?
isn't bad.
Target, bro. They're like $13 for like 2 pairs, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it, man.
They're slap.
Quality.
They're nice, man. They keep.
Me undies is
Yeah, MeUndies they're cute, man.
it's 16 for one pair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
You crazy.
Wait, it's a subscription base, right? You get one
It's
every
subscription.
week.
Yeah,
or
you get one every month. You get a new pair. But yeah, no.
I'm sorry. Is that supposed to sell me? Oh, it's $60, but it's a subscription. It's a subscription. That's like what you tell yourself when you don't want to like
It is
pick
a lot.
something.
It is a lot. However, once you put one on, bro, it's not the same.
So
that-
Whole new world.
Not worth the fuck. Listen, this is not sponsored at all by any means. However, it's your region, bro.
Yeah, but like, how are you gonna pay 16 for briefs? Like, I understand.
Top quality.
Bro, I would
I
pay
understand.
16 for socks.
Give
Are
me
you
some
kidding me?
freaking beautiful silky boxers.
That's what this is, bro.
But you said briefs. You said like it's hugging
Well,
that shit. It's like
boxer
oh,
briefs, man.
yeah.
it's providing support like a bra. You know, like
Wait,
That's what I want.
Does
Yeah.
me undies even have like underwear,
Yeah,
like tidy whities.
yeah,
They do.
they sell
Okay.
like 3 different kinds. They sell regular boxers. They sell boxer briefs. They sell
Okay, so
They
that was
call
just
it
your choice.
trunks, and yeah,
Okay,
bro.
okay. Fair,
Relax.
fair.
Getting all hostile and shit.
I
It's
was
me
just-
wearing them, not you.
Homie, I'm just
It's
like
16
looking
bucks
out
a
for your
month.
wallet, bro.
Yeah.
I'm looking
No,
out
it
for
is a
your
lot.
wallet.
It is a lot. I've had to cancel for months. It is a lot,
But it's such a good product that
Oh,
we
man.
highly recommend.
Hey, it's that
Exactly.
Egyptian cotton, man.
bro. I don't know what they're putting in their underwear, but it's got me hooked.
We'll review sponsors.
Going back to Phil's question that he asked in the group chat, and I've really wanted to bring it up, is are you the same person? You know, because Joe kind of touched on it earlier. Of like, when you were younger, is you at 25 who you thought you'd be? And I know it's a very philosophical, like, deep question because, like,
Philosophical, no pun intended. Shit.
but no, it really does. It made me think about it for the last week of like, you do set out goals for yourself of like, you think this is going to be easy. And, not that it hasn't been, but you think life is going to go a certain way and there's constant variables. But like, it is very interesting when you stop and think about like, damn, like 10 years have passed and like everything has changed. 2 years have passed and everything has changed. And, that doesn't necessarily have to do with COVID, but like, this is now. Grasp it.
Yeah.
2020 seems like
It's
a blink ago.
flying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, it's a tough question. That question came to me when I was pooping.
Yeah.
No jokes.
It's
like,
a moment of thought
for
Toilet
real.
thought.
when you're the most yourself.
Dude, he was like in the middle of crowning. Like he was just sitting there, like about to
Yo, I
cut
got
it off.
I got to yo-yo this one. Hold up.
About to break water.
Yeah, honestly, that's why my dog and I get along so well. We poop the same, I think. We
Dude.
both very like.
Yeah.
Yo, quick
Very
question.
ab-like.
You guys ever pee outside to make sure your dogs aren't insecure?
All the time.
No, I've peed
If I
outside by
gotta go,
choice.
if I gotta go, yeah.
But like staring your dog down, because you know how they look at you when they're
Yeah.
peeing,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Yeah.
you gotta establish who the alpha is.
Yeah, yeah. I feel
You
like,
gotta
yo,
look at bitch,
I'm looking at him
don't
and
break eye
I'm
contact.
pissing on him too.
You pee on your puppy?
Sometimes you gotta.
Oh, it's a Siberian
Show
Husky.
him what's up.
those dogs are.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say
He's
for
too
that
smart,
like
man.
cleanliness reasons, I go ahead and skip that. But I respect you and your culture.
It's just an alpha thing.
what
bro. I
you
don't know
do.
what to
Yeah,
tell
you're
you.
not an alpha. You're
It's
a
actually
beta.
not even alpha. It's more sigma. But
Yeah,
we're
that's-
not gonna
that's-
get
Oh,
there.
no,
Exactly. That's
no.
more
Trust
sigma.
me. I am filled in on what Sigma is, man. Trust
And
me.
I don't want anything to do with you guys.
Funny.
Oh, you
Go
know what?
ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted. It's completely irrelevant. I changed my gamer tag on Xbox, so it's Sigma Joe now. It's the 2022, bro.
Exactly.
So add him.
What
So
were
add
you
me.
before?
Hexy Joe 5'4", half
That's-
Mexican.
That's
yeah, Hexy.
that's worse.
Did you say
should-
Hexy?
Hexy.
Hexy Joe. Yeah.
Hexy, like
Like half
hexagon?
Mexican, hexy, like right? Is
Hexy,
that what
yep,
you're
yep.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I get
I
you.
get it. My dog peed on himself one time.
Yeah.
Yo, I
That's
peed
when-
myself.
That's
one
when he
time.
was a puppy, and he was laying at the. I peed on myself. I got a funny story for that. My dog was sitting at sleeping at the feet of my bed by my feet, and just in the middle of the night, I remember him just like getting up on all fours, and I'm like, "What the fuck is he doing?" And he just starts to pee on the bed, and I'm like, "God damn it!" And then he just lays down on it, and he was covered in piss. So I had to like get up. And
Did your ass call in the next day?
I don't think I worked the next day, but like the next morning. But I remember just him being covered in piss and being like, "God damn it!" and trying to dry him up and like taking the sheets off the fucking bed. And
Damn,
Oh,
yeah, he was just
had to sleep
I
on the
was
couch that
so
day.
pissed.
that's
yeah.
rough.
I know.
Especially in your bed, dude. That's in the middle of the night. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
He just had to pee and he got up and he's like, "Fuck it, ready."
It's like this feels kind of soft.
let it rip.
yeah,
Yeah, that's just
Oh,
happened to me recently, a couple of weeks ago. I got
because you got a puppy.
yeah, I got a corgi. She's 9
Corgi.
months now, right?
She's
And,
adorable.
Aw,
She's adorable.
She's a bitch. She's a female dog, so I can't legally
she
say
is a
that.
bitch.
Yeah.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, he can say the B word.
She's nasty. But yeah, literally happened. Went up to sleep and whatnot, and I turn over. And I don't know. I'm a rusty sleeper, and I
Yeah.
felt a wet spot. I was like,
Mm.
oh fuck.
Like you immediately knew.
And
Warm, cold.
room temperature.
Oh.
But you
It's
know,
been sitting
I
for a
had
while.
to
Touch
touch
it
it.
just for.
I had to
absorb.
touch it, yeah. touch it and like smell it.
That's the
like,
worst. You guys ever step in dog shit without any
Oh.
socks?
Yes.
Oh.
It's
With
without
no socks?
With no socks, bro.
No.
Just, heel straight, just skids it like.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yo.
never happened.
You had to scrape the bottom of your nail. How did I get so much under there? Jesus.
Oh, that's the worst, bro.
I would hate to get shit on my feet. My feet are the worst. I am so
Feet?
flat-footed. I got so many. What's the
yeah.
word? What's the shit?
Bunions? Calluses?
No, calluses. There we go. I got very
yeah.
callous feet.
Yeah.
Really?
Me too.
Oh,
Really?
you flat-footed?
Yeah, I'm flatter than a duck.
Oh
bro.
hell yeah, dude, Joe, you're the shit.
Hey, cheers to you.
Take a
bro.
little cheers.
buddy.
That's right.
Empty
Flat
wine
feet
glass.
gang.
Flat feet.
I do not have flat
Gang,
feet.
gang.
Pussy.
But you know, like 10 years ago, like now that I'm 25, I would have imagined that my feet would have had some arch by now.
No.
By the way I walk and just constantly have no arch, so flat-footed.
Dude, you just gotta watch more Gary V videos, man. You just gotta like,
I gotta
You
build
ju-
myself up.
you just gotta like visualize.
Don't you know it's in you?
Your feet like building arch.
Exactly.
you know?
Motherfucker, I got a vision board at home. What
Did
the
you
hell
add
do
that to your
want?
vision board?
Yeah. Did you add arched feet to your
Yeah.
vision board?
Arches and all.
That's
the
why
things.
you're failing, bro.
God.
I gotta give you this book called The Secret. I think you'll like
The
it.
Secret?
Yeah, I think
Secret
you'll like it.
arches.
Worst fucking book I've ever read is The Secret.
Is
Bro,
it-
tell me why like the moment
Such
I
a
turned
waste
18,
of 10
bro.
hours.
That's the pickup artist book, right?
The moment I turned
No.
18, like
No.
all
oh,
of
that's
like
the game.
all of my like
Yes.
friends that were trying to like be into self-improvement were like reading The Secret at every turn they could.
The Secret. What's the other big one? Like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is another one that's like, don't use your debit card for anything. Sell all valuable possessions. But The Secret. Do you want to tell us what The Secret is?
I mean, The Secret is just kind of like manifesting. Like
It's
the
literally
idea
just
of that,
say
like,
it into the say it
like,
into
say it
like,
into the universe, and that'll make it more likely to happen.
it's like
sort of thing.
Well,
like,
yeah, no, it's
that,
I like that,
like
though.
the
I'm
law,
into that.
like the law of attraction.
that's why you're a Sigma.
I'm into that, bro.
Well, yeah, I do believe in like manifesting, but I think manifesting comes from within.
Yeah.
The Secret is literally like, no, repeat it in your bed while you're fucking about to sleep 10 times in a row. It's like, listen, man, some things aren't gonna happen.
People are crazy, man. They take things way extreme. So, for instance, like this physical trend that's going on, that people are getting fit now, right? People are like, you gotta wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
You do.
You gotta do 100 push-ups without
do.
breathing, and then take cold showers. The whole life, like it's
Yeah.
just you don't need to go that extreme, and people get so fucking turned off.
People are trying to copy that. Like, I'm gonna do the rock challenge. I'm gonna wake up at 5
No,
in the morning.
don't do that, dude.
Just you don't have to be healthy. Just be healthier.
Yes,
You don't have to be fit. You just
Yeah,
have to be fitter.
exactly.
Like
This is why I carry around this water bottle, because it's like
that's pretty beta, if you ask me.
I don't give a shit
What,
what you
You
think.
need a
H2O?
water bottle to tell you how much water you drink.
No.
You know how I drink my water?
Sidebar.
I bite the ground and suck the water out of the earth itself.
I've seen it.
That's-
He has this just like long straw.
Yeah.
He sticks that shit like into this 10-foot well. He just slurps up that like mud sludge, and he's just like,
That's
yum.
Yeah.
That's some
exactly.
Sigma
Vitamins.
stuff.
That's some
They
Sigma
do
shit.
sell stuff
Vitamins.
like that though. You don't even have like a bird out. You just have a straw, go through some dirty water and drink it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like 50% gonna kill you, but
Yeah, it's 50% E.
not
coli.
100%.
Equally.
Right.
But I'm 100% going to be a badass when I'm done.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The next COVID is coming from this asshole.
Basically, what I was getting to with the whole water bottle thing was, if I can drink at least half of it in a day, I'm doing better than most people.
Oh yeah.
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 Just
That's,
like,
It's
that's all.
nuts.
You know,
The
it's
only
not like
person-
you don't need to down a gallon,
exactly.
piss 13 times a day.
I thought low key that's almost a gallon. No?
I thought that was a gallon, no?
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
well he's talking about like other
80
people
ounces.
like drinking so.
That's more than a gallon, isn't
Yeah, I
it? A
thought
gallon's like
gallon's like
64.
32 or 64.
32 fluid ounces.
Okay.
But that's American. So it depends
Yeah.
on how
The
you
metric.
measure
Where
it.
That's
are we?
right.
Vietnam.
Yeah, you gotta
Canada?
measure in the
Well, some
Vietnamese
things are
system.
measured differently
the
because
US.
they're
I'm
made
sorry.
in the,
I'm sorry.
Right.
The commie system.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
made in the
How many
Republic of
hammer and
China.
sickles is that?
That's 4 hammer and sickles.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's 1 Mjolnir and 3 hammers.
Okay.
But
How many World Trade Centers is that?
Wait a minute! Don't no
Inside job?
Hold up.
Inside
job?
Don't go down this.
Was
one.
there
Bush did 9/11.
Was there a
And
third
Can't
tower?
melt steel beams.
And we are red flag.
Damn.
And now we are canceled. So
You
thank
just
God
got
we waited
canceled
2
by
hours.
YouTube.
All right, let's bring it back. Let's make it personal.
Yeah, let's bring it
make
back.
it personal.
hydration.
yeah, everybody go home and hydrate.
Wait, hold up. Let me say something before we go on.
Yeah, what are Joe's 2 questions that you wanted to bring up?
I will. Let me just say, it is now that we have cold weather upon us. Your body is a lot more dehydrated because it's cold. You don't know that you're dehydrated, so make sure you drink your water, guys. Seriously.
Take vitamin D3.
True.
D3. Yeah.
Drink all the water.
Yeah,
the
Joe,
water.
you actually prepared 2 questions for us, right?
I did. Yes.
He's pulling it up on his
His Google
Wahe
machine.
phone.
And once we're getting the questions up, where can people find more of your guys'
Give us
work
your
for
tag
painting?
for your painting
We'll
work.
put your painting description.
Look, what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah. So my painting Instagram is at joes.advancedpainting.com. Or not even .com. It's just Joe's Advanced
Can you
Painting.
do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you buy a tripod and do a time lapse of your painting?
I eventually plan to do that. Yeah. I'd
Because
like to do that.
it is satisfying to see the job done,
is.
but I also think it'd be like beautiful if you just
Yeah.
did like a
Like panorama picture?
not
Or what do you
panoramic,
mean?
but just like a
Like a one wall.
one wall. Just set up a
I know what you're
tripod.
saying. Yeah, I'd like to do that eventually.
Oh yeah.
Tripods are cheap. We got 3 in the closet right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting there. Trust me, I got a lot of things in the works right now for.
If you suck his dick, he'll give you one.
No, I don't.
That is true.
No. You don't need to suck no dick. You'll get it just by your hard work
Yeah,
and,
I'm
your,
just
and
gonna-
your craftsmanship.
Just
Doug.
gonna build
Come
one, guys.
on. Yeah, it's just a tripod, isn't it?
I'm gonna put
I think
$120
they're like
worth of
$10.
materials into a $10.
It's just something you could buy
Tripod.
for $40.
No, man, I got some big works coming up with like content creating
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Beautiful.
So eventually, but let me ask one question. This is for everybody.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so the first question is going to be, obviously it's going to be 2 questions here, but what are your personal goals for 2022, and what are some podcast goals individually?
Ah.
So I'll read it again. What are your personal goals for 2022, and what are some podcast goals?
Personally, I'll start off.
Yeah, Phil.
2022. I spent most of 2021 like a widow wife. Just very sad about the past and all this stuff. Just very sulky, right?
Sounds kind of hot.
I was.
You should have sent me videos of you crying.
I have plenty.
Crying in the bathtub
That turns me on.
with his corgi dog.
Oh no,
Just forcing her to stay in the
the
bathtub.
corgi's a light. She brought me out of the darkness. But 2022, it's gonna be the year that I do get back into things, like liking things. I didn't even like watching Netflix shows and shit like that. Anything that was big.
So would you say that you were kind of in a little rut?
Yeah, a bit of a funk, a little of a rut.
funk.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think everyone's been in a funk.
What's
Yeah.
your podcast goal?
Podcast goal? To expand the Bro Tasteless network, to eventually get like a couple of shows underneath. Video, which should be coming up in a couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
We're gonna
are
go
you-
full-time video.
Yeah.
We have equipment. We just want to nail it down,
Yep.
and we want to just do more video content, not just like monthly like we're doing it now, but just like every week, just having new shit.
Yeah.
And one of the goals is get that studio together.
Yeah. We're kind of.
Studio being in here in this room or in a separate building.
We still need to have internal talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have a couple of.
We have a
things to
couple sites. Our scout is working on that right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
My
Oh.
people will call your people.
Yeah.
Green screen.
Yeah.
That's
There's some things we want to do. Juan, do you want to go next, or do you want me to?
I mean, personal goals for me.
You're getting married on August 5th.
I am getting married, so like I'm searching for a location for like that we can move into.
Start
So
life.
that's a goal for
That's
me
huge,
as
man.
well.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank
yeah.
you. But in addition to that though, like I want to take more risks, like in different aspects of life as well. Like I feel like I've had a lot of like almost like a certain hesitancy towards like taking certain risks, and like I wanna like step away from like that habit, and yeah, that's like something that I am like looking at in a lot of facets of life, not just like one or the other. Like I feel like that's been a little like personal demon that's just like low key like has me like from a noose on the neck, you know, just like you are your own like personal demons, you hold yourself back, and like I feel like I am kind of like dealing with that, and I want to deal with that like in a more positive fashion. So like that's a personal goal, you know, getting the home, dealing with those demons, And as far as like the podcast goal, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, I want to grow, like just like Phil does, but I also like want to put out like some different flavored shit than like what's out there. Like
Yeah.
you want to like put out work that you're proud of, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think
so
now's a
I
good
also
time
think
to
that
say
that's a
that
goal.
we're starting a new show that we're doing this Sunday. You know,
Yeah,
because
that's right.
you're one of your big passions is like
Just like current events, like the state of like the world, like who's like pulling the levers of power. Like in my opinion, like we as like the American population are almost like made to think that current events are intimidating by like mainstream media. Like they do a terrible job of explaining like the reason that like you should care about X, Y, or Z, right? You have to like go out of your way and teach yourself about those subjects. So like in my opinion, like I think that there should be more like working class people who are quite literally like a part of the mainstream of the country, right? Rather than like people who came from like who studied at Harvard and studied at Yale,
who literally went to like
yeah, who've had everything handed to
universities.
them for their whole
Yeah.
life, and that's kind of like who the majority of the personalities in the media are. Like, look at Tucker Carlson. He's literally a
They're like
Elitist.
They're like
A-
cookie.
yeah.
When I meant like people go to universities, that they meant for like journalism.
yeah.
And so you don't get these like real people. You get these like cookie cutter type fellows who all sound the same.
Exactly.
Have to remain happy.
Exactly. So like, in my opinion, like
That's
I-
what you want to be. You
I-
want to be one of those cookie cutter.
I don't, not at all. I'm saying that is a criticism. Like Anderson Cooper, he's a member of like the Vanderbilt family, like quite literally an old Southern aristocracy. Same with like I said, same with Tucker Carlson. He comes from like the Swanson frozen food empire. Like he's literally like a billionaire's mouthpiece, right? Like so, like I think like fuck these like current like figures that our society uses as mouthpieces for different sides. Anderson Cooper, Carlson. Like we literally do need more everyday working class
The actual
people
heart of America.
yeah, who just like have an interest in these issues and
Want to know what's the truth.
exactly, and we just, you know, like we want to just talk about it, whether that be like left or right. And like you've heard us, we fucking dog on like both sides pretty good. Like we do. Like we like
finding
none of
the
us
truth.
none of us here are like Biden stands. Like
No.
we're literally dogging on him every other episode. Like
or Trump dogs.
yeah,
No,
or Trump dogs. Exactly.
I feel like we've done a good job so far of like just trying to find the truth, because it's always somewhere in the middle. It's never like what you get on either format of like news that you get, whether it's Fox News, whether it's New York Times, which are like super right or super left. Like it's just, we just want to find out what's true and have you make your own opinion based on your morals. Like, you know, episode 7 was like a debate episode where we just simply talked about our own opinions, and it's like there's not a right or wrong, there's just a truth and like lies and propaganda that are being pushed out. So
I'm like specifically remembering something that's coming to mind right now as I'm listening to you, like talking about how, like, you know, we are kind of divided. You know, like in the country does, on purpose, get divided by the media sometimes. And like, I remember one time as I, you know, like at my job, I was working at a factory, and I had this older gentleman who was like 60 something come up to me and this other younger guy who, like, we were partners, and he just kind of looked at him. He's like, "Yeah, brother, like you gotta like watch out, like they're out to get us, the white man, and this and that." And I was like, and like I wasn't trying to get involved too much, but like the guy prompted me. It's like, "What do you think?" Like this or that. And yeah, at that point I was just like, yeah, you know, like I feel like the media like kind of has like people like you and I who quite literally work like the same job and same position, like working against each other rather than looking up at our boss who's underpaying both of us.
Yeah, 100%.
And like I feel like that's a microcosm of like what us as working class people should be doing, you know, like
right.
like the nurses, you know, like does it fucking matter if those nurses were Trump or Biden supporters?
No, they're
Like
just,
while
No,
they were
that's
still
irrelevant.
getting fucked over by those
they're being
administrators who were
undervalued and
Yeah.
overworked.
yeah, like no, fuck that. Like those working people should have like the wits and the solidarity with each other to know that it's not them against each other, it's them against the people above them. And like that's kind of the synthesis of my vision for like the way that I like to talk about current events. Like I don't want to talk about left versus right. I want to talk about like who are like the people in power and why are they subjugating like this other group,
Yeah.
right? And like I think that is like a way that we should try to present some of these current events.
That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so circling back to the question then, so one of your personal goals for the podcast would be to drift off into a more current event.
We're gonna have
a second. I'm sorry, excuse me.
exactly. We're gonna have a segment
channel.
like that where we're gonna have like all of us will swap off the responsibility here and there, where we're gonna have like different points of view.
That's cool.
Kind of like what grinds your gears this
Yeah,
week, sort
yeah.
of thing. Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that.
Literally,
That's a good idea.
'Cause
like
it's not talked about
what's
enough.
in Luis's
No,
corner,
right.
what's in Phil's corner, and that can be like many different subjects. That
Yeah.
can be
Things that bother each other are going to be different.
yeah, that can be anime, that can be WWE, that can be sports.
Exactly. Like this weekend is the Royal Rumble. What's on my mind right now is Rey Mysterio gonna win. 619.
Booyaka, booyaka.
Whoever's editing, throw in the Booyaka Booyaka 619 song.
And then Undertaker comes out of nowhere and chokeslam that bitch.
Live from New York City, SummerSlam.
What about you, Luis? How about you?
Personal goals for 2022 are to really take a step forward and to just letting go of like my past. And I felt like for a very long time, I've been very open about like going to therapy and like letting go on the podcast, but like even more so, like I feel like now that I'm getting older, like I'm 27, which isn't old by any means, but it just feels like I'm at the age where it's like make or break. And it's like, you know, like I want to take risk, and like I've never been really like afraid to start something for no reason. And like even the podcast I just like started off on a whim where we just like had a conversation. I was like, yeah, but let's do it. So I feel like more of that, and just like wanting to just be fully like, you know, fully independent and happy from like everything, and just like I'm in control of my emotions and no one else is.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's good.
And then like goals for the podcast is just have it be something that I'm proud of. And I think right now we're at a point where I'm like, no, I'm like super proud of like the production that we're doing. And
You
like,
should be.
thank you, man.
Yeah, no,
that
you-
means a lot.
Absolutely.
I know you said you listened to an episode, and like even when people
Dude,
like,
our episodes sound so much better now
they
than
number
they used
one,
to.
they sound better.
They
Number
sound so much better, man.
we're so much more
Oh, man.
organized, and it's like, you know, anybody can do a podcast. I mean, Spotify
Doesn't sound like
Sure.
we're in a cave.
exactly. Spotify literally hired producers right now in the last couple of days to send to Meghan Markle and Prince, what is it, Andrew?
Yeah.
Because they signed a 20 million Spotify deal, and so far they've only
They sent him a
produced.
bunch of producers.
Yeah, they sent them a bunch of producers because they've only produced one episode that was a holiday special,
Okay.
and it's like $20 million for one episode. Like, god damn.
Baby.
Like my goal is just to keep producing content that we're proud of, and
Good.
like Phil's been killing it, Juan's been killing it.
Yeah.
When we have people like you come on the show, once again, you know, I'm very thankful for, and the fact that we can just like sit here and actually, you know, express to each other how we feel. And the big thing too is I just want people to relate to what we're talking about,
Absolutely.
and not just, you know, because they're giving us an hour or 2 hours of their time
Yeah.
during the week, and it's like that means a lot to me, and
Sure.
I just want to be able to reach out to them in a way that they can like listen to us, and we're actually not necessarily affecting the way they think, but just like, oh, this is something I hadn't thought about. How do I feel about
Yeah.
it? And like, do I relate with Phil? Do I relate with Juan? Do I relate with Luis? Do I relate with Joe, who's, you know, got his own business, and you know, and so on and so on.
It gives people, the listeners, to like kind of be a part of this. with
Right.
us.
I'm not trying to influence how anyone thinks. I just want them to think for themselves.
And relate too.
Yeah, exactly.
I do got to say, just being affiliated with you guys for the past week, it's you guys put a lot of time, hard work, and effort into what you got. Like you said, you guys are putting in as much as you can. You're putting in. It's like hanging a picture of yourself that you drew.
Right.
You're putting yourself out there for people, and you are passionate. You do want the best for them, and that's good. And that's how you know you're in the right path.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it for the passion rather than any other thing.
Yeah, if 5 people listen to it and 3 out of those 5 are us 3, then like I would still do it.
Right. And like I said, you guys take it seriously. You guys are organized. You guys are not only organized, you are conscious of being organized, which is huge because most people are just they don't think about it. They want, but you guys want it to be as smooth, everyone on the same page, whatever. And you guys got a good thing going here. This is awesome.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do you have a second question? I know you do, but
I do. Let me just say, I just want to throw out my personal.
let's hear yours.
My personal goal for this year.
Let's end it there.
Oh,
Let's cause
Take a little break.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been going for a while.
Yeah. So my personal goal for 2022 basically comes down to loving myself more. This past 2021, I've never stood in front of a mirror with my shirt off and told myself I love you.
Wow.
I've never done that. And I did it. I did it like 3 times. I kind of had like a 5-minute, just a one-on-one with myself, and I've been doing that maybe once a week to just kind of. It's hard. No one's ever taught me. No one's ever told me to say, "Hey, man, ease up on yourself. You got to love yourself." So, I've been doing that this past year, and this year going on, I'm taking action. I'm getting, I've been working out. I've been eating clean. I've been doing things that
It shows, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, dude, you're lean as fuck. You're over here looking good, dude.
I really appreciate it, man. You guys, I mean,
like Joe Soberg or G.I. Joe, man. Like,
no, Luis, man. When we were in the restaurant, 2 years ago, you're getting fat. I'm like, yeah, I know. You don't gotta tell me, bro. I appreciate you being honest with me, bro. But I know.
Did I say that to you?
Yeah, bro.
your ass would say that, bro.
You're like, yo, you're getting fat. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Your ass would probably say that to a few girl servers.
What are you gonna
I
do?
would be surprised if you hadn't already.
I wouldn't be
You
surprised.
been okay there, Tiffany? You look like going through a rough patch. It shows in your jeans.
But did that help you get in shape?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, in hindsight, it did push me to
You know what? I love you. I look out for you.
Exactly.
I was probably saying it to be like, hey, man.
And I didn't take it personally. I knew that you meant well, and that you were just like, hey, some people just need a little kick in their ass.
Yeah, exactly.
That was his equivalent. It was Luis's equivalent of yes, king. Yes, king.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. Is I don't have many people to really. A lot of people don't. They're afraid to call out one another because they're afraid of conflict and being uncomfortable or whatever. And
They're afraid of being truly truthful with each other.
Yeah, and that's rare to find in people, and that's why I think you guys all get along is because you're not afraid to dish it at one another.
Bro, tell me why this guy has a point, man. All of us kind of have turned off a certain level of filters with each other.
Yeah.
Where we're just
100%.
Sure.
nah, motherfucker, you're wrong about this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, homie, but you're wrong.
I would agree.
And he's right, dude. You do have to be kind of truthful with each other when it comes to certain things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all about honesty and being, being more open and truthful.
Yeah.
And if if the 3 of you or other people that I hold very close to me were like, hey, what you said or what you did isn't right, then I think I would take that very seriously.
And that's another thing too. It's you have to be man enough to admit when you're wrong or when you screwed up. You have to be able to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Whatever. Yeah.
It's
about
it's a tough pill to swallow too.
Yeah. What about a business goal that you have for 2022?
Business goal. Well, I just got in. We just got in. With a construction builder, which is one of the goals. The next goal is to get another construction builder, which I have on the works right now. Basically, just to keep going, keep growing, man. Just to keep, pay the bills, pay the taxes, do everything right, and just I keep thinking I had to have my mom. I had a weak moment the other day. I had to, not a breakdown or nothing like that, but I was just I talked to my mom. My mom and I are very open. She's my best friend, and I talked to her about everything. And basically, I was just like, I don't know if I'm doing good. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know what. And she's like, you're doing great. And, I thought about it. I'm just like, when you're climbing the mountain, you don't ever just stop and turn around and look where you're at. You keep climbing until you keep going. And so, like, I had to take a step back and be like, fuck.
Absorb your own progress.
We're doing good. Yeah, we're
Mm-hmm.
doing really good, man. Like, the goal is to basically have a new construction house once a month. We have We have 4 houses coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's half the year. You know what I mean? Like, we're set.
Increase your portfolio and your repertoire.
Yep. So my mom is a graphic design artist, so she's helping me create my logo right now, and then she's gonna help me make a website, and then eventually I'll probably hop back on Facebook. It's been 4 years since I've been off Facebook.
Jesus.
Honestly, man, stay off.
One of the best.
Stay off, homie.
One of the best decisions I've made.
Yeah, stay off. If you've already been,
I'm gonna
off
pay
this
someone
long,
to deal.
Yeah,
with,
just
with
exactly.
It.
Just pay
I'm not
a
even
social media manager.
Fuck that. Get your brother. Get your little brother on there.
Yeah, he's 4 years old.
Yeah, he knows,
Yeah.
He knows how to use it.
He probably got the algorithm down.
Yeah,
He's like, no, what you want to do is you want to post every Tuesday.
he
at
probably
5 p.m.
already has a neural link.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be set.
No, man, business is good. Life is good. I got another thing in the works too. I've been thinking about going back to school for personal training for like weightlifting and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Because I've always wanted to change people's lives for the better. Whether it's in your house, making your home homier, painting walls, or it's fucking out at the bar and pouring you a beautiful drink. Like I think fitness is a good way to change someone's life, physically and mentally. I mean, huge.
Is that structure, the discipline structure?
It is.
Getting
Right.
into
It
fitness.
is. So
100%.
we'll see, man. I got a lot of things in the work. And me with my ADHD, I got a lot of hyperfixations and hobbies, and I'm a kind of a nutcase, man.
Homie, I feel you, bro.
Dude.
I
Hey,
jump
God
through
bless.
hobbies like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and it's good because we're
Bro, have
always
you
learning.
ever fished?
Fished?
You gotta get into fishing, my
I'm
man.
into fishing. Yeah.
We gotta go fishing.
I'm down to fish.
We gotta go fishing.
Yeah, I go fishing all the time in Como.
Do you?
Sometimes. Yeah.
Dude, we'll slay some
It's
bass
a
out
good
there.
time, man.
Get some hogs.
Yeah, man. And I know some piers that we can go and fish off of and stuff too.
Man,
There
I
we
gotta
go.
hit up my mushroom guy.
2022 is the year of fishing. Well, once again, Joe, we couldn't be more proud of you specifically. Really,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you for being on the show and
I appreciate it.
opening up about everything. And we'll end the podcast there. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we will